It's nearly Christmas. I feel like this is a little Christmas special, if anything.
It's a big one.
Are you excited?
Thrilled, absolutely buzzing.
Oh yeah, this is a big
it's
one.
It's going to be a John's already laughing. 30 seconds in. No.
So today, I'd say this is one of the biggest games the Premier League's seen in a long time. Liverpool and Arsenal, both challenging for the title at the minute. Who'd have thought it at the start of the season? I mean, you would have maybe predicted Arsenal, but I wouldn't have thought Liverpool would be this high. What's your score prediction? Simon, a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I just think with the midweek victory against West Ham, that's given our bit of confidence back in us, I think. So I'm going to, quietly confident, but 2-1.
Frankie?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit cagier. I'm going to go 1-0 Liverpool, I think. I think Liverpool will pull through. They're obviously quite a force at home, aren't they? And, I do back them to potentially get it done, even though Arsenal could surprise a few.
See, I'm going to go the opposite way around. I'm actually going to go with 2-1 to Arsenal. I think, given the performance from Liverpool last week at Anfield against Manchester United in a big game, maybe
my prediction could be
Arsenal.
a whole array of.
30 seconds in and Arsenal already with a half-decent chance.
Can I change your prediction?
No, it's too late for that. But yeah, I think Liverpool didn't do too well in a huge game at Anfield last time out. Obviously, as you said, did really well against West Ham, but I don't know. I don't know if I see it. I think Arsenal have been fantastic.
They're due a win. They've not won for 11 years or something like that at Anfield.
Have they not?
Yeah.
Well, Arsenal haven't won for 11 years at Anfield.
2012, I think it was, yeah.
Wow.
So they're due a win, but
I don't think many have won at Anfield, apart from one club I can think of.
the Super Leeds, yeah.
The Super Leeds. The boy Somerville. Arsenal with a corner. Whoa. It's a nervous start. It is a nervous start for Liverpool. But boys, should we jump into one of the first debates of today? And that is creating our Liverpool and Arsenal combined 11. So obviously this is of the teams right now, not all time, just the teams.
Steven Gerrard.
Just the teams that
Get him in there, get him in there.
Yeah. So should we start? Well, I think goalkeeper speaks for itself, doesn't it?
I think a lot of the starting 11 speaks for itself.
Yeah, I think this is one of the easier ones to do out of all the big games. So everyone's got Alisson. Yeah. And then let's go with right back.
Okay.
It's got to be Trent.
It's got to be Trent.
I think it has to be Trent. I mean, let's face it, Benny Blanco's effectively not even a right back anyway.
He has been very good though.
Benny Blanco. just got that.
Yeah.
White has been fantastic when he's played at fullback.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
I think it's a shame. There's actually such a... I've never seen an international team have so many good options.
Well, it's funny. Neither of them get a look in.
Yeah.
Benny Blanco didn't even get in the squad.
No, well, he's got some kind of issue.
He won't be on the plane. I think. Do you reckon it's because he doesn't like football? Are you aware of his personality and stuff like that? Yeah. He's very unusual when it comes to. He doesn't watch football. He doesn't. Maybe Southgate just disagrees with that, or
he seems like more of a Love Island fan than
he does. He looks
fan.
like he should be on that sort of show, doesn't he?
Yeah,
like
he's definitely on the beds, isn't he?
But it is strange how many good right backs are English and playing at the top. I mean, obviously Reece James doesn't even really count anymore to me because he's just constantly cropped. Yeah. He's literally never fit. But Trent at right back, two centre backs. For me, I've gone Van Dijk and Saliba.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
This is going to be so easy, isn't it? Would you have any shouts for anyone else? I saw a lot of people. I actually saw a debate online earlier in the week where there was an Arsenal fan saying that Saliba and Gabriel have one of the best centre-back partnerships in football history at the minute, playing in the Premier League. So should you really go keep that partnership together?
Well, I just think it's a combined 11. We're not talking about obviously the chemistry is amazing, but then if Van Dijk and Saliba play in the same team, obviously they'd figure it out. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about two incredible defenders here.
Van Dijk's arguably the best centre back of the last 5 years. Yeah, so Arsenal, and it's 1-0 to Gabriel. It's Gabriel with the goal.
The memes, I can see him already.
Wow,
shocking.
And he's in my team as well. Come on.
No, I don't have him. Anyway, 3.5 minutes in, and it's 1-0 to Arsenal.
Wow, my prediction Anfield. Already out the window.
Liverpool defence looked like statues, didn't they?
Yeah, Liverpool haven't woke up so far.
Started well, Arsenal have though.
That's Arsenal having the third decent opportunity in 3 minutes. Oh, is he onside?
I think is what's happening on the good old shoulder. I think the lines will be coming out for that.
We love a bit of VAR.
Yeah, there she is.
I think he's going to be offside there.
No, the knee.
No, but his head is above. His head is further forward than the Liverpool backline by the looks of things.
The knee,
he's just started.
the knee of number 18 is playing him on.
That is a close
High,
call.
and I think we need to stop all this bollocks. I think these should just be given realistically. That's
if you want more goals in the game,
that's a conversation for another day, though.
We have a VAR debate every time we do the show because it just irritates every single football fan, doesn't it?
I'm sure.
But anyway, in fact, we'll wait to see if this gets given first before we jump into.
His knee might just be in front.
I think that this.
Who's 18? Gakpo.
Gakpo, yeah.
Gakpo as well, not even a defender.
Yeah, he's on. Thank God. That's 6 points for me then.
Simon, this is not the ideal start, mate.
No, it makes it interesting because Liverpool have to go now, won't they?
Well, that's it. Will Arsenal just
I
sit
mean,
back
this
now,
cagey affair has really been a really poor shout for me there. So, but I'm quite happy.
Looking like my predictions. It's looking like
good.
it might come good already. But we'll carry on with the combined 11. Left back speaks for itself again. Andy Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson, even though he's injured,
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean,
I
Zinchenko
think even in a hospital bed, he's probably still top, isn't he?
I don't know. Zinchenko is quite good as a fullback a lot of the
He's
time.
got a mistake in him, though. I think it's Zinchenko all the time.
And as much Robertson's one of those players for me where if you're playing against him, you hate him. But if he's on your team, he's really snide.
He's very snide. Yeah.
He's also a left-footed left back, which I never shut up about. I'll probably bring it up once or twice in the later chapters of this this session as well. But I do think that is important. I think it helps the shape of the team, and particularly the way that Liverpool play, and actually, funnily enough, the way that Arsenal play. They could probably benefit from having someone like Andy Robertson
100%
in there. But
And then I went for a midfield three. I don't know if you would have done the same.
Yeah,
but
they
both play similar formations, don't they?
Obviously Rice has to be in there for me. I think he's been absolutely incredible. I think on one of the last shows we had a debate of I don't know, you boys weren't here, but we had a debate of if he is the best defensive midfielder in the world right now.
Rodri for me.
Yeah, I mean Rodri's the obvious answer, but Rice is creeping up on him. Rice is top of the league.
He's not far behind. He's not far behind. I mean, I think just because of last season. You go Rodri, don't you?
I agree.
And the way that they've dropped off.
It's wild that Rice is already in that conversation, having been at Arsenal.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And it's funny as well, because, again, this might crop a bit later. Obviously, they're playing Arsenal, that is. They're playing, obviously, they've not had Partey for most of the season. And they've been playing Havertz, they've been playing Odegaard. And Rice has very much been that six. Do you see him as someone who can be more influential in that position, because he's played obviously as an A for England in parts. He's played more of a mobile midfielder in other teams. Do you think he's best as just that solid DM number 6, spraying the passes left and right?
I think that position works for him. Again, though, he's been quite good going forward. Whenever he's got good progressive passing
on him, hasn't he?
Do you want to restrict him? That there's lots of options.
It's easy. I think from an England fan's point of view, it's quite nice to see him as that out-and-out defensive midfield option, because obviously we've got Jude now, who's the attacking option, and there's a few that can sit in between them. Yeah. So I like Rice being more defensive, but I do also think he could fill other roles within the midfield at the same time.
I think when you've got Partey out, he obviously needs to, because Odegaard's not particularly a defensive-minded person. Havertz certainly isn't. He's actually all right in the press, but... for the grand scheme of things, I think you do need him holding there. But to be honest, I think Liverpool might struggle to get with this midfield. I think Arsenal's midfield is just so good. Who else gets in there?
So for me, Simon, you go ahead. Actually, who are your other two midfielders? I think it'd be interesting.
I probably would have to put the Arsenal ones in there at the moment, because Szoboszlai's done well, but again, he completely went missing against Man United. I mean, he's played in pretty much every game this season, and I think he just looks knackered as well. Yeah. So he does need a break, but I mean, he's got a shot on him. Like he's got a great goal midweek.
Yeah, so. I don't think I'm ready to put Havertz in there though.
No, I put.
So he's been injured though.
So my choices were Szoboszlai and Odegaard as the other two.
I definitely put Odegaard in, definitely.
But that's what I mean. If you have Odegaard and Rice, who else are you going to put in there? Because Szoboszlai's not an out-and-out attacking midfielder, is he? I know he has that attacking, a lot of elements to his game that complement attacking, but he's a more central midfielder. Yeah, so I wanted a mixture of...
Yeah. I mean, I probably would put him in there, actually, to be honest, but...
Yeah, I'd have him over Partey.
Yeah, over Partey, definitely, And
obviously
over Havertz as well, I think,
Is that your choice as well?
I don't know. It's a bit of a time cost, I think, Partey and Szoboszlai. But this season, obviously, if that's what we're talking about, Szoboszlai, I mean, Partey's not even been there, has he?
No. And to be honest, I think he was a little bit underwhelming anyway. Like he was all right for Arsenal. He never really set a foot wrong, but he never set the world alight either.
No,
like if you look at the conversation around Rice in comparison to the conversation around Partey,
it's worlds apart.
And Partey was 55 million still, so it was like a big signing for Arsenal at the time, and he never. Xhaka did better last season. So, it's a bit of a strange one. But let's move on to the attack of this combined 11.
This is where it gets
it's a bit tricky. I mean, Salah or Saka, isn't it? But
Salah.
I'm going to go for Salah.
Salah, yeah.
But
then it means Saka doesn't get in my team.
It's unfortunate, but it's no. We can't do that.
Can't do that.
No.
I mean, you can if you want, but I personally would rather have one of the other left.
All right, if you did
options.
one or the other, I'd just definitely have Salah then, yeah.
Yeah, so it's got to be Salah on the right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Saka. I mean, Saka is incredible. And do you know what, actually? I've seen a lot of debate and a lot of talk online of people saying that Salah has actually done a lot worse this season. That he's still getting the goals, but he's not performing as well.
Yeah, his form, I suppose, like you said, goals and assists, he's up there as usual and stuff, but his general all-round play hasn't been the best for a couple of seasons now, to be honest.
For a couple of... So last season as well? Liverpool with a corner.
Yeah, I just think because he gets goals and assists, he gets the headlines still. But in terms of his actual,
we're talking about probably number 1 and 2 in the right wing position.
In the Premier League,
in potentially in the world. I mean, think about it. There's not many.
Yeah,
they're all left.
Yeah.
You'd throw Vinny in there for left. And
is that Rodrigo at Real Madrid play on the right sometimes?
Rodrigo, yeah, but he sort of plays as like the front part of a diamond. Though they've got a very narrow. Don Carlos played Vinny and Rodrigo up top, but almost like quite free flowing forward play. But he does play more on the right than obviously Vinny would. But
so who have you got as your striker then, fellas?
I don't know. This one's quite tricky, isn't it?
I think
I went for Jesus.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him that, but yeah.
I'd probably
Gabriel.
say so, but I mean Nunez. But again, he just doesn't do enough.
I think Jesus is top.
Yeah,
I think Jesus.
I'd probably put
Nunez annoys me though because he's one of those players. He has the pace to get into positions that most strikers can't, but I would not trust him to score any opportunity.
No.
He's like Rutter for Leeds. I hate making a Leeds comparison, but he's one of he just gets there, but you never have confidence that he's going to finish it.
I think he's best when he doesn't have time to think, when he's just like, gets the ball, bang. That's, like he did at Newcastle that time.
Newcastle,
but when
he finishes.
But when he's got time, so to speak, he does fluff his lines quite
That is a massive red flag though, because ultimately the striker has to be the coolest man on the pitch. They get put in those positions more often than anyone else, and ultimately it's up to them to bury it. And I feel like if you can't, people the very top level players in that position have that from quite early on, and he doesn't have that.
Yeah, he's just got. It's like the raw talent still, but how long can you say that?
He's not young. He's like 24, and he's been better this year than last year. So Klopp's obviously getting something out of him. But I just think, like I say, he's one of those players that he can score a hat trick and then get sent off in the same game. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like
what's going to happen.
There's a real struggle for good strikers at the minute.
Yeah,
like out and out strikers. Obviously, we're putting Jesus in this, but he's not even really.
Well, I saw your top 10 the other week and that, and just looking at that top 10, and if you were to compare that to 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's much worse. Like when you've got Ollie Watkins and Isaac, and I had Ollie Watkins and Isaac in my top 10. That's wild. A few years ago, that would
he wouldn't be in the top 25 or something.
No. But anyway, we've got one more position to pick, and that is
the most interesting.
The most interesting, and that is the left wing. Who have you got, Frankie?
It's very tough. I actually don't know. Obviously it's between Martinelli.
Salah.
It's obviously between Martinelli and Diaz. I think last season, if you look at, obviously Diaz was injured for ages. He was a bit of a catalyst. I know when he briefly came back. Martinelli's numbers, and probably he's stayed fitter for longer. That has to be a factor. Maybe edging towards Martinelli, but that could. I could certainly be swayed, I think, with a certain argument.
I'd go Martinelli. I just think like Diaz is another one. That's since he got injured last season. I mean, it's been brilliant. He came back and stuff, but it's just not the same. Yeah. I don't know if he's just lost that yard of pace kind of thing. And obviously the whole thing with his dad being kidnapped, can you imagine what that would be like? So his head's probably all over the shop as well. But yeah, he's just been off the boil a lot this season as well. So
I completely agree. We did a video a little bit ago talking about the most overrated players in the Premier League, and I actually had Diaz in that list. I know that might seem a little bit harsh, but
yeah, I think because of the injuries and
I
what's
think,
happened, I think that's probably a
but
bit
at the
harsh,
same
but-
time, people still rate him, and he is good on the ball. But when you look at his goal and assist records, it's quite low anyway, and most of them have come against really poor teams like Bournemouth and Sheffield, etc.
Scored some absolute worldies, I remember.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's not a bad player, but I just think he's overhyped. And I appreciate there might be a few reasons behind that as well, but that doesn't change the fact that people still put him up there as one of the better wingers.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Don't score now, Diaz. You make him look like a fool.
It's like Gabriel, huh? But no, I went Martinelli as well.
Yeah,
I think there would be an argument, to be honest, in real life, if one of Salah or Saka were willing to play on that wing, you would probably try get
Yeah, I mean, them two are clear, aren't they?
Yeah,
Clear as day.
two of the best wingers in the world.
Right-sided.
But on the Salah, in fact, before I jump onto that, who would you pick as your manager?
oh, Klopp.
That'll clap all
Klopp.
day.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy as well.
I personally, whilst Arteta's obviously done a really good job and still is, I think Unai Emery's better than him, and just from his resume. So like,
You're saying Unai Emery's better than Arteta?
I think
Well, he's won more, hasn't he?
he's won
more.
3 Europas.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say this.
I'm not even disagreeing with you. I'm more just thinking.
What I'm just saying is I view Pep and Klopp at the top by a considerable distance. And
Arsenal again. Oh, I thought Saka was going to make it.
And then,
but it's a Liverpool free
and then
kick.
you go probably Unai third.
Yeah, I'd say
So just on that basis, I think Arteta's not. He's obviously like top 5 managers in the league. But do you just say that because he's got a sexy squad and
Yeah, I was going to say I like Arteta,
players.
but I think, for example, someone like Emery with the squad that Arsenal now have would do better. But it's impossible to say.
And obviously you've got it's funny because the Arsenal fans all say that Unai Emery's shit because he did a shit job at Arsenal at the time, but then he was, I swear, was he the first manager after Wenger? And there was obviously the club were just in disarray at the time.
And the squad was really bad, like, unbelievably bad.
Shocking ones.
So it was a tough run for him at Arsenal, but obviously what he's doing at Villa now is incredible. But on the Liverpool squad, Simon, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, I touched on Salah a minute ago. Do you think if there was another massive bid coming this year from the Saudi league, you'd have to?
I don't know. I don't think so now, because obviously in the summer we probably said yes because we needed to rebuild the midfield, but now we've done that. I don't think we necessarily need the money, but I think we still need a DM, clearly still, and we need another centre-back as well.
But would you want to sell him?
No, I don't think I would now.
Even still?
Even still, I still think, because he seems he's got the physique of Ronaldo, so I can see him playing for another 4 or 5 years at the top level. So I would just keep him because he's going to score goals. So I'd still keep him, definitely.
I mean, it's what are they looking to come in at? 200?
Well, the offer in the summer was a reported 180 million.
I think you were absolutely bang on to not sell him then.
Yeah,
absolutely bang on. And if you think about, again, we just ran through the right wingers. Replacing him, obviously you could replace him on the left or something like that. You could replace him in another forward position, but that's like at least 30 goals a season, all comps, like guaranteed pretty much gone. And then, you spent 90 million on Nunes. You spent, how much was it? Give or take, a lot of money.
Yeah, I think eventually it'll be like 80.
Diaz was 70, I think. So like you're looking at there, 150, 60 million there. And, that's, you'd rather Salah over both those players.
It's
arguably.
true, but I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's really dangerous for a team to rely on one player for the output that he has, especially as he is getting older. Yeah. And there's not going to be many opportunities for any club around the world to sell a player for that fee.
Yeah.
So I think Liverpool have done a really good job, and I think you're seeing it. This season, the thing that's made a difference with Liverpool is getting rid of some of those older midfielders, Milner, Henderson, etc., and bringing in fresh midfielders.
More legs.
So if you sell Salah, even if you only get a different winger for, let's say, 50, 60 million on the Diaz level, but then you can revamp some of the rest of the squad as well, and I think then that keeps you in a good position for years to come.
Financially, it makes sense. It does, 100%. But I just think he has got a lot more still to offer.
You won't see them challenging next year if that happens.
I don't think that's particularly true. I think there'd be a chance. It depends how they spend that money.
Who's out there to get to replace Salah?
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
you won't be able to get
'cause
Saka,
you're
would
not
you?
getting Saka.
No, not getting Saka.
You're not getting Rodrigo
Maybe
from
Bowen
Madrid.
from West Ham. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's 27 now, but
Yeah, but you could probably get him for, what, 50 mil?
yeah, probably.
And he is doing a pretty incredible.
He's a great player. He's a really good player.
But
Yeah,
I mean, he's not
yeah.
the same type of player as Salah.
But he's like a similar-ish signing. Obviously, he's playing out of his skin at the minute, so we don't want to underestimate that. But that's a similar-ish signing to what Arsenal did with Trossard and used him as a sub. But if you're talking about starting Bowen and you want a title charge, is that feasible in replacement when you previously had Salah in that position? That's a big drop-off.
Yeah, but this is my point when I say it wouldn't just be a case of signing Bowen, would it? Because they'd also be signing other players as well.
But where would you'd have to sign him in forward areas, which they've already recently signed Nunes reasonably recently. And Diaz has played for, 18 months? Gakpo is new. Like, you've just bought a new midfield. You're talking about an entire new team.
Yeah, true, but this is kind of what's needed. It'll be a team that'll last another 5 years. I feel like Salah's the only of the old. Like, obviously, you got a few defenders still there in Alisson, but keepers last a lot longer, and so do centre backs than midfield and attacking players generally.
I think you'd probably wait. Obviously, you get your options together, but depending on the outcome of this season, then you maybe have a more informed decision to make.
That just needed to be a good ball. That was an amazing run from.
Because let's say you do win a title this year. You can your favourites for the Europa League probably.
Yeah.
You still got a very decent chance for the title. With
and then
City
you'll
dropping
have
off.
more funds as well from doing so well in the competition.
Then you maybe make a more informed decision. It's like, all right, do we try go again, or do we push for another title?
It's like the thing with when we sold Coutinho to Barcelona, and then with that we bought Alisson and Van Dijk, and obviously that just took us to the next level.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to do something like that, to sell, like Salah, get 150, maybe 200 for him, but I just think he's still got more to offer, definitely. I really do. Really
I mean,
do. Even though he's not playing particularly well this season, but he's still got the goals, hasn't he? So
I, of course, absolutely love having Salah in the Premier League, and I wouldn't want him to be gone. But I just think if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd think, all right, he's done amazing for us. How long can he continue this? And that'd be the biggest transfer fee of all time, and that's tough to turn down.
I mean, a lot of Liverpool fans were saying that this summer. It's like, should we just get the money? Take the money and run, so to speak. But even though he hasn't been playing that well, he's got 15 goals already this season, like 8 assists, something like that, and it's just crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? So.
Yeah, and we're saying he's not done that well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, we're not. We're saying he's not played particularly.
So if he plays well, then I think what else he could do. So I just think because he's hardly ever gets injured. I think he's only missed like 10 Premier League games since he's been with us. In like, 7-8 years or something like that. So I just think he's one of those players that just doesn't get injured. So
isn't he going to have to go off to the African Cup of Nations
in January? Yes, I think he'll probably miss a couple of games and maybe a couple of FA Cup games as well.
Well, that might be a good time to judge what we're talking about here, how Liverpool will actually be without Salah.
Yeah,
because sometimes it's also a case of obviously he's so fantastic, but then when he's not in the team or whoever else comes in, it might mean other people can shine a little bit more.
Well, he didn't start midweek, and we played really well. So. But, I mean, West Ham, they were crap anyway. But
yeah, well, West Ham managed to beat...
they beat United, didn't
Manchester
they?
United today. Manchester United are on a massive downward spiral at the minute. Yeah. To a crazy level.
To a very pleasurable level.
I'm enjoying it so much. I've never seen... Well, I said to you earlier, Frankie, that it's the biggest downfall ever, but...
Well, it is. It's like, can you imagine like a Real Madrid or a Barcelona being where Man United position is?
In a couple of seasons,
you
been like
couldn't think of it, could you?
Yeah. I think it's a bit different over there, though, isn't it? Because there's not as much pressure in the league. I feel like Madrid have, and Barca. I mean, look at Barca 2 years ago. I mean, they're still their future's very questionable with the financing situation, and that's probably a topic for later on as well. What they're trying to do about that. But I would say that in the Prem, it's relentless, mate. You just You have to be on point every season. Regardless.
Do you know one thing that's really, I don't know if I'd say irritating me at the minute, maybe irritating to a certain level. I don't understand the argument from Manchester United fans when they just talk about the injuries, etc. this season. Like, obviously they've had a massive impact on how they're going to play and probably the outlook of the season. But I think you've also got to take a step back sometimes and think at the start of the year, they'd finished third, they'd won the FA Cup, they had Europe again, they were buzzing, made some what looked like smart signings in the summer, bringing in a Champions League finalist goalkeeper, bringing in Højlund, who's a promising striker. And admittedly, they've had a fair few injury issues this season, but I don't think that those can be blamed for all of the issues. Obviously, there's more issues from the top down, but sometimes you've got to look at what they expected at the start of the season in comparison to where they're at now. The defence might not be amazing, but for example, in the last game, you've got Varane, a World Cup winner, a Champions League winner.
What's happened to him, by the way?
Well, I know,
my
but
goodness.
This is where I say, can it just be blamed on injuries when you've got a Champions League finalist goalkeeper, a Champions League winning centre-back, Luke Shaw at left-back, who played in the Euros final not long ago and is seen as one of the best full-backs in England. Admittedly, Evans is pretty poor. You've got Dalot at right-back, who Manchester United fans hate, but isn't actually that bad of a fullback. So you've got this defence that, admittedly, it's probably not exactly where they want it to be. You're missing Lissandro, you're missing a few other options, Wan-Bissaka, of course, but it's not a bad defence still. It's a defence that if you've got a good management style,
there's still a team there, isn't
you
there?
should
There's
still
a
be
team.
okay especially against teams like Bournemouth and West Ham. They're losing to.
It doesn't scream top four though, that defence.
But I think it's just how, like you say, they've just been outplayed by these teams. And I mean, I don't watch Man United every week, but I just don't know, how do they play? What sort of a team are they?
There is something massive that is going wrong. Like, it's weird how it's like the Bermuda Triangle of clubs. You go there, no matter how impressive you've been the previous season, Jadon Sancho, you name it.
Yeah.
You just turn shy.
It makes no sense.
So bad.
But this is what I mean. I think it is a problem from the top down, and I think the atmosphere at the club as a whole must be what is
toxic.
The culture of the changing rooms must be dreadful, mate.
Yeah, it must be horrible.
Well, Ronaldo did that interview, didn't he, where he said that nothing's changed in 10, 15 years. Like the training facilities are the same, the showers are the same, the chefs are the same, everything's the same.
That was a penalty then.
Oh,
Slap the ball.
That should definitely have been a penalty for Liverpool there, in my opinion.
I mean, that was like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, so it never got checked.
No, I don't think it did.
Oh,
Goodness me.
Standard VAR. But no, I think it's the excuse of everything being down to injuries when you've got that many good players in the squad doesn't make sense to me.
That has to be down to the management then, doesn't it? I think
Yeah.
it does.
And then they'll have one good game, like that Chelsea game, and all the fans go, all right, gassed, yeah, this is Ten Hag, he's back, this is the style he wants,
Yeah,
this is how he wants
it's
it.
hilarious.
And then they lose against West Ham, and they'll lose against Bournemouth,
That
and you think,
Bournemouth result was...
That was shocking, that wasn't it?
Oh.
Jeez Louise.
And the Champions League performances as well. Oh my
You're
God.
going to lose against Copenhagen
Yeah.
to get knocked out.
Something like that,
It's
yeah.
wild. But as you said, if you'd have told me this even a couple of years ago when they were under Jose, I wouldn't have thought
they still had the capability of winning matches and like winning trophies and stuff, but it just seems that's all just gone out the window, isn't it?
Yeah. And but I also think that when you're in a rut, the longer that the rut continues, the worse it gets, and your belief just diminishes and gets lower and lower, and ultimately that just spirals into just negativity and shite, which is essentially what Man United are at the minute.
I'm just thinking like when Man United were winning everything in the 90s and 2000s, and Liverpool were rubbish. Like we weren't as bad as Man United were now.
Yeah,
we were never this bad. I think we went through probably late 90s, like when Julia came in. We were poor. We were rubbish. But that was for like a season, and then obviously he's cleared all the dead wood out, started getting an identity back. But that just doesn't seem to happen at all with Man United at all.
And I think Liverpool in between that. I suppose Man United are though. They're just at the minute. It just feels like the squad is lost. Because if you think about it, realistically, in the last 5 years, they've won the FA Cup. Didn't they win a Europa League?
Yeah,
and
like
League
2017. Yeah, so they won three cups in. Yeah,
they've done well
they've
to
come in the
to
top
pick up
four a
trophies.
couple of times. So it's not that bad, really. But it just seems like, in comparison to the rest of the big six at the minute, they're just nowhere near.
Yeah.
And
Miles off.
it's the infrastructure. Everything about them, the stadium's falling down, the training ground hasn't changed. Like, what the fuck has happened?
Would you rather be in Chelsea's or United's position right now? Because they're both in turmoil for different reasons.
Do you know what?
But-
I'd actually rather be in United's position because I think
I
Chelsea
would as well,
Chelsea are
actually.
going to get fucked by FFP. And also, they've got all those players. They massively gambled on all of these players becoming amazing.
Oh,
Salah
there
in
we
the
go.
box.
Oh, he's too good.
Shit, we should sell him.
And it's
Get rid.
won all.
Get rid.
28 minutes in, this has been an entertaining game so far.
That's what I mean. It's just so much better than last weekend.
Oh, wow. Big goal. Massive goal.
Good finish that.
Salah for Liverpool.
Also in my team, but I'm sure
I've got him
everyone
as my
has him.
captain.
Capitan.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have him.
Captain Watkins, and I've facepalmed myself to the hill last
I know
night.
loads of people that did that.
I think I did that. But I don't have Salah at all.
What?
So, I don't know.
That's probably why I can't see you in the table.
Whoa. How do you say Salah? Because I always say it's Salah, but everyone in Yorkshire just goes Salah.
Salah.
Is it Salah? Is that right?
But I think it's Salah. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. Salah.
So, yeah, Salah.
Yeah.
1-all,
Good
boys.
finish that.
1-all. I said 2-1.
I mean, Zinchenko.
We've seen
I just don't
that.
think Zinchenko's
Yeah.
very good.
Andy Robertson wouldn't let that happen, would he? Oh, and as well, yeah, it does have venom on it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
but,
no, the keeper
but
can't do
Raya doesn't get near it though. Doesn't even get near it.
Do you know, I've never been to Anfield. It's one of the only big stadiums in the UK that has evaded me. Anfield and the Tottenham Stadium are the ones next on my list, but I won't be going with Leeds anytime soon, so I doubt I'll be able to go.
No, it's a great stadium. Just so much history. There's history everywhere in it.
It is good, and it's got a bit of an old school vibe.
Yeah, they've refurbed it the right way.
Yeah,
haven't
exactly. I mean, there was loads of talk when we had like Hicks and Gillette that they were going to build a new stadium, like they're doing with the Everton one, like a completely new stadium. I was just like, no, just if you can redevelop, because it just adds so much, like the history of it all. And I love how each stand is different, like a proper English stadium. Love it. Because, you've got like Arsenal, and I suppose the Tottenham stadium is boss. That looks amazing, but it's just like an arena rather than the stadium, isn't it? And
it's like a ball, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a big, massive ball. Although it does look amazing, and I love the fact that there's a lot of these teams have quality stadiums now, because I love the Emirates when I've been.
Is it good?
Oh, I love it, mate. Yeah. It's proper good.
It just looks like say an arena.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It doesn't give the football stadium vibe, but I preferred the Emirates to the new camp.
So the new camp, yeah.
But the new camp's also just a big ball.
new camp or the
old? I haven't been to the new one.
The old camp.
Having that done up, aren't they?
Wee. I want to go to the new Bernabeu though.
Ooh. Yeah, that looks
Go on.
crazy.
Liverpool. Liverpool have been all over Arsenal, really. And they could have had that penalty, which would have probably made it 2-1. What is going on here? Someone bring the ball down.
Oh,
There we go.
a bit of a ropey touch.
Bit of a sus one.
Canite is a bit like that.
Whoa. Anyway, should we jump on to another debate?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about, obviously, it's the January transfer window soon, just around the corner. So I wanted to look at some of the traditional Big Six clubs and players that we think they should sign and that'd have a huge impact on them for the rest of the season. So should we start with Arsenal, who are obviously playing right now? Frankie, who do you think Arsenal need to sign to keep pushing for the title?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're wanting, I don't know how realistic this is, and obviously we know how good Jesus is on his day, but maybe an alternative option up top. It doesn't necessarily have to be a completely different profile, but Ivan Toney's obviously the bait one that no one shuts up about. I just think a very top level striker would elevate them massively. I think their defense is really solid. They've got too many keepers, if anything, which is causing them issues. Their midfield's amazing. I'd probably go a really solid striker and maybe someone who can play a similar role to Partey, who's not injury prone, and potentially allow you to use Rice in multiple different areas. So at the minute, Rice is by default a number 6 because Partey is not available. Maybe if you could free Rice up by having a number 6 in there, that could be really helpful. Or bringing in number 8 so that there's less pressure on Havertz or something like that. I think that would be really helpful. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I think a striker, someone who can get 20, 25, 30 goals.
Great tackle there.
I think that would benefit Arsenal massively.
I completely agree, but do you know what? My option wasn't actually Toney. I think Arsenal did such a fantastic job picking up Rice, and I know he's a big money signing and a marquee signing really for any Premier League team. Whoever got him, it would have been. But I think that they should move away from Toney and look to get someone that's even on a higher level than him, because I think it's quite easy to look at Tony's stats at Brentford, and he did fantastic, but there he's the big fish in the little pond. Yeah. And I think they should get someone who's been playing at a bigger team at a higher level for longer, at a European level. And my two options were, I went to the Italian league because I thought generally you can pick up players for a little bit cheaper from Italy in comparison to some of the other leagues. So I thought either Osimhen from Napoli, because he's consistently for the last 3 seasons bagged goals, done it in Europe, done it in the league, won the league with Napoli, so he knows what that pressure's like. Or Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan,
Yeah, he's a good player.
who obviously won the World Cup recently, has also won the league with Inter Milan, and I think
They'd be expensive though.
Oh no, they would both be. I would say at least 80 million.
Yeah.
But Osimhen's had a lot of issues at Napoli. He's had some stuff earlier in the year where he didn't play for a couple of games because the official Napoli social media were posting videos taking the piss out of him and stuff like that.
Being racist.
Yeah, so he's probably not that happy there. And if the opportunity to come to a team that currently sits top of the Premier League is there, I think that he might push that move, which means they can get him for a little bit cheaper. And I think when you look at the Rice transfer in comparison to some of the like Partey, for example, who they probably knew they should have got someone a little bit better than him at the time. Why not just splash a little bit more and get one of the good ones?
Yeah.
And plus Tony's not played for 6 months.
Could get that geezer from Stuttgart, Serhu Guirassy.
Oh yeah,
17 goals. Obviously only just behind Harry Kane, of course.
Yeah.
17 goals in 14 games or something. He's basically doing what Osimhen did, 1 or 2 years ago when he was tearing up the Serie A, top scorer there. He's sort of come off the boil a little bit this year, but he's still obviously top class.
See, I agree with you, but to be honest, I would probably I'd pick, if you could get Osimhen or Martinez, I'd pick them still, just because they've done it for multiple seasons already, and they're both still, I think they're both about 25, 26.
Yeah, like mid-20s, aren't they?
So they've still got a long time left to prove their worth in the Prem. I don't know. I think any striker, to be honest, there's not really anywhere else. I think Arsenal.
Is Lewandowski available?
Lewandowski's about 34 now.
Yeah.
That's the only problem. Obviously, if you could get Lewandowski, if Barcelona are skint and you could get him for the last 6 months of the season, I think he'd guarantee them winning the league.
He'd score your goals.
That'd
definitely.
be, imagine that if Arsenal could do a deal like that where they got someone maybe on the end of the tether, but for the 6 months that can play as a striker. I think that'd
do
work.
a job. Yeah.
Like United did with RVP for a season.
Oh yeah.
Because that practically won them the league, didn't it?
Ibrahimovic went there and did all right, didn't he?
Yeah.
They also did like the Cavani's and Falcao's of the world.
But Arsenal's all of their signings in the last season or two have been long-term options, aren't they? They don't really do that style of business. So
they're not going to do that, are they?
So let's move on to Liverpool.
Yeah.
What do you think, Simon? You can take the lead on this one.
I think. Well, like I say, I think we're still crying out for a DM, just a solid, quality DM. I think because I think that would free up McAllister as well, put him in his natural position. I mean, we were heavily linked with that Andre from Fluminense, who who won the Brazilian South American Champions League. But apparently Fulham are front runners on him now. Apparently, so if that means Paulinho's moving, but then he's been linked with Bayern Munich, but they said they can't afford him. So I'd take him, even though I think he's like 28, isn't he? So he's
Paulinho. Yeah, he's done well for Fulham.
He's quality. He's really
so
good. Yeah, and I do think we need another centre back, a left-sided centre back.
I was about to mention that. I think someone's partner Van Dissel.
I think there's someone in Germany that Klopp's got his eye on. For the life of me, I can't remember his name, but I think we've scouted a couple over there. And then, I mean, I'd loved it if we'd have got Colwell as well. Chelsea. I think he's going to be quality. Even though they're struggling at the moment, I think he's going to be brilliant.
He will be good.
Yeah.
You can see that he's
playing left back at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's just naturally left-footed, isn't he? So I think he's going to switch between those two.
They don't have Chilwell at the minute, do they?
So for Liverpool, I had 2 Leeds United linked options in my head. So I was thinking DM is the main one you need, and I'd go with Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
I know he flopped at City, but he never played. Never. And he's got a right pass on him. And you've got enough options attacking wise. And defensively, Phillips was always very good.
Yeah. I just think
that's a good player. Good player.
But if you were to, obviously, I'm a Leeds fan as well, but from a realistic standpoint, do you want someone who's not played for essentially 2 years? Is that more risky than getting someone who's at the top of the game already?
Yeah, but also I think in January that's a more realistic prospect.
Financially,
you could get a loan deal potentially. But would City want to?
City would
loan
want him to
Liverpool?
They probably wouldn't even sell him to Liverpool. Actually, would they?
I think with Phillips as well. I mean, I know he's been injured, but he just always seems a bit overweight. So it's always a question mark over his mentality. Does he want it enough? Does he train hard enough? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I think he's just had a tough time at City. It must be hard to keep in 100% game playing shape when you know you're not going to be playing ever.
Yeah.
Whereas at Leeds, obviously, when we were under Bielsa, everyone was worked very hard, but he was playing every game then.
Hasn't he been linked with Juventus? I think he's going.
Juventus are the team that's meant to be getting him.
Yeah, but
Again, it's weird though. How can Juventus come in for him when he's done nothing?
well, Serie A's a lot slower as well, so I think
He'll do well. I think he'll do well, but it is
good.
strange.
He's a good player, but I don't know. I question marks over his fitness and mentality, I think.
Fair enough. And then Arsenal with Havertz. Yeah, this has been a very end-to-end game. It seems like both teams have been close to scoring multiple times, but haven't had like quite clear-cut chances. Your favourite boy, Benny Blanco, with a horrible pass.
Yeah.
Straight through to Alisson. And I had another Leeds United option, one that would seriously upset me, but I think would be a very smart signing, and that's Archie Gray. I think if a Premier League team came in for him now and said, we'll give you 40 million with like a 10% sell-on clause and we'll load him back to you for the rest of the season, Leeds would probably have to take it because of the financial fair play stuff. Yeah. And I genuinely think he's going to be one of the best centre mids in the country in another 5 years.
How old is he?
17.
17.
And he's played every game of the season for us so far.
He's unbelievable.
Wrong position.
Yeah, and in right back most of the time.
No.
He did play a few in centre mid, which is his position. But I think for a January signing, that if you could afford it in terms of your financial fair play, that would be smart for the long term. Because I genuinely think in another 6 months, he will be good enough to at least be challenging for a spot in the team.
Big praise. I mean, he is fantastic, but then again, you have just got and he wouldn't fit that DM type though, would he? He's a lot more mobile. I think he'd probably cover for Szoboszlai.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you could really throw him in as well. No,
you couldn't right now, I suppose. But I'm more just for Liverpool. I think it'd be a
just try to keep Leeds relevant. Put Leeds in the map.
Yeah.
Anyone else you think you needed? Just that centre back, really?
Yeah, just centre back, and I suppose maybe another cover for Trent as well.
Arsenal. I don't know what happened there.
What's going on?
Martinelli's got the ball in the box.
Oh my goodness me! What's going on?
And he's got it completely off target.
Oh my God! How have you missed that?
Arteta had his hands on his face. Whoa!
I don't even know what happened.
Looked like a pretty simple opportunity.
Saka changed his lid as well.
Oh, yeah. Saka could have got a shot off there as well.
Could have gone down a couple of times then as well.
Oh, he slipped.
To get that off target.
Need another angle.
Yeah.
Well, Liverpool have got off lucky with that one. He just misses as well, doesn't it? It's not even far off. Ramsdale looking super confused while sat on the bench. Let's move on to another Premier League team. What signings do we think Manchester United need to make to improve their second half of the season?
1 or 2, definitely.
1 or 2. What do you think, Frankie?
I reckon just get rid of the club all in all.
Just delete it.
Just get rid of
the
them.
club.
Because honestly, their entire squad. I'd say there's 4 players you'd keep. 4 off the top of my head.
What for?
As in, like, just keep them around. Mm-hmm. I feel like everyone else is essentially worthless or poisonous to the club. There's, I mean, Lisandro Martinez you'd keep, I guess. I mean, Anana's had a really questionable start. I don't even know about him.
I don't know
do we go with him?
I don't know. I mean, probably.
Varane, you can't say that he's a banker.
No.
Harry Maguire, how many days is he going to steal? A living for? Luke Shaw, I would keep.
Luke Shaw's a good player.
And then again, injured a lot.
Yeah. Is he really going to be a player that helps you push you forward in a whole league campaign?
So, like, if
you can't rely on him, can you?
Yeah, which is tough. So I'd keep Luke Shaw, Lisandro Martinez. I'd keep Garnacho. I would. Is Casemiro still all that?
Casemiro's got 3 years left on
he's about 39 years old.
A week.
And I actually don't think he's that old.
I think Casemiro's actually got 2.5 years left on his contract at about 270 grand a week.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's
how old is he? Is he 32 or something?
Yeah. But he looks like he can't run anymore.
Like
I'd rather keep McTominay than Casemiro.
I'd keep McTominay.
I'd play McTominay up top though, because he can't stop scoring, and they need a striker. So I reckon just whack him up there.
I think I think Højlund's a decent. He's young, isn't
Højlund
he? Just
as well.
service
Seems like an
whatsoever.
obvious foul there, by the way. I don't know.
So what's that? So that's five players that I mean, we've
Wan-Bissaka, wouldn't you?
Wan-Bissaka's actually done all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Good,
Again,
good
though,
defender.
he's injury prone.
but again, he's not gassing me. I don't go Wan-Bissaka. You are going to get me to a Premier
Yeah,
League
but
title.
that's not what Man United need anymore. You don't want them wild players. You want players that are actually going to have a lasting impact on the squad. Like when you look at this Arsenal team at first, when they first came in, most of these players, you weren't like that. Like Saka played for a year or two before he got really good. Like Jesus, you say, oh, he's a class player, but he's not really an unbelievable striker, but he's good for the squad. Zinchenko, good for the squad. Saliba was crap for him, sent him out on loan, and then he came back and it's took 2 years for him to now become one of the best centre-backs in the world. So you need players who maybe aren't huge wow factor names.
Well, that's the fact. He's saying players that you can sign, that you can improve, but can that management team improve players?
Yeah.
That's the question, isn't it? You know, has anyone improved since Ten Hag's been there?
I think people have got worse, if anything.
Yeah. So
But anyway, in January, who would you sign if you were Manchester United?
Where do you even begin?
Go on, go. Oh, Gomez.
Maybe sort the defence out. They've got Johnny Evans, mate.
Yeah, if you're playing Johnny Evans there, something's wrong.
Yeah, because Lissandro's out long term, isn't he? Harry Maguire's out as well. Even I can't even believe I'm saying that. So yeah, I'd go centre back and just pick up a smart loan move maybe. If you back Lissandro to do the business when he comes back.
Yeah, but then who's he going to do it with? Because I think you may as well just get a permanent transfer. Because
But if you're on about January though, if we're being pedantic about it, then that's the more realistic option normally. But,
yeah, true.
But obviously, yeah, in the long term, you'd want Lissandro partnered with someone who's not Harry Maguire.
I think there's an obvious English option. Tomorrow. If they could
But
lure
you
him.
wouldn't want to go there. Would
Well,
you?
no, you probably wouldn't, but
You'd be an idiot to move there. I
They'd
think
probably offer him
let's
300 grand a
let's
week.
ignore the fact that no one wants to move to United.
Yeah.
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. If you're United, who
wanna go?
would you want to get?
Yeah, if you'd want someone who's incredibly good and probably at better clubs at the minute. I'm sure that we're going to have a top 10 centre back list later on anyway, so we can discuss those options then. But there's certainly a few guys out there. I just don't know whether they'd actually want to move.
True.
I mean, it sounds like they need someone to put the ball in the back of the net as well, don't they? Because I don't think any of their forwards have they got like 3
Yeah, I
goals?
just don't think they're going to sign anyone that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, because they've just spent that much on Højlund and they're still paying
We didn't
Martial.
mention Bruno as well to keep. I'm sorry about that. That's profanity. Bruno is...
No one's mentioned Rashford though to keep.
Or Rashford. Yeah,
I just think if you get a good manager managing Rashford, he can be. I reckon even if he came to Liverpool, I think he'd do well because I think there's a player in there. He just needs the right. He's one of those players that needs everything around him to go well, so to speak.
I think he's.
You know what I
I
mean?
think he's pretty mediocre, to be honest.
I think
There's definitely a player in there.
No, I mean he's a good player in certain moments and for periods of seasons, but I just think it never lasts. He has like a good 15 games, then there's absolutely fuck all again.
Yeah, it's way too much just erraticness and volatility to his form, and it's just not great, is it? Sort of someone. It's almost like a player who's at a mid-table side.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Where it's like you see Zaha tear it up against probably United or someone like that when he played for Palace back in the day. Put the team on his back for a month and then go.
Do you know who would actually be, in my opinion, the best signing for Man United? And you mentioned him earlier, Bowen. Think about how crap Anthony is on that right-hand side. Imagine if they got Bowen. And I feel like he's one of those players that'd actually go there. Because obviously he's at West Ham at the minute. United is still bigger, not particularly better than West Ham. But they're still bigger than them. And Bowen's been quality for a few seasons now. And I don't think he'd drop off.
Why don't they get Bowen and then David Moyes as well? Get David Moyes back.
Yeah, that'd be
Get the boys back in town.
I mean, we had a little chat about this off camera. I literally don't know who City should sign. I feel like their whole squad is just incredible.
Just maybe a backup keeper.
I think I actually do think there is a couple signings.
Go on.
I think they've significantly suffered without Gundogan, and obviously they've tried to replace him with
Was it Nunez or something
with
from
Nunez,
Wolves,
which
didn't
arguably hasn't worked. Kovacic arguably hasn't worked as well.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips obviously hasn't worked. And also, I think just they are quite light in that midfield. If they can't rely on those 2 new signings, and they drop off massively when Rodri goes out.
Oh, when Rodri's out the squad,
I just think they need to, if they want to, win the treble again, which is going to be tough, obviously. I think they'd have to just bring in who's the best midfielder, holding midfielder, like 6. I reckon a Rice would be perfect, but it'd be perfect for everyone. But
I'm trying to think who's like a good central midfielder that is actually attainable right now. How old's Kimmich nowadays?
He's not attainable.
Is he not?
Late
For Manchester City?
Late 20s, early 30s.
I think he must. If he's like 28, 29, that'd probably be quite smart.
He just screams like a Philip Lahm, retire at Bayern.
Yeah, you say that, but I think now if Manchester City come knocking and they can offer the most wages in the world and you're going to win trophies.
If you'd want to change a league,
Yeah,
as
you
well,
might actually be a
that's
decent
smart
shout.
one. That, yeah.
Yeah, I think you want someone more physical though. He's like a maestro ball player, sort of like a Rodri.
But so who's the option then?
It's tough. That's probably why they've not sorted it. Do you know who the option is? Gundogan. Gundogan was the option.
Yeah.
They got rid of him and they were stingy in getting. They tried to get him on a 2-year deal instead of a 3-year deal, and obviously he wanted the longevity, the financial security for his family, and all that.
And Barcelona offered to loan the whole stadium to sign him.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they've made a bit of a mistake there. We'll see if they actually come a cropper this year, but. Good half. Looks like it's wrapped up.
Yeah, end to end, wasn't it? A good game of football so far. I suppose it's quite. Arsenal maybe have had the edge, I think, but I'm happy going in 1-1, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been an entertaining game. I think obviously Liverpool had that penalty that should have been given, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That VAR didn't even check for some reason. And
Why would they? Why would they check?
Yeah, why would they check an obvious handball in the
That'd be
box
silly.
that everyone called for? And then, Martinelli having a good chance towards the end of the half, but not managing to put it in the back of the net. What other teams do we have? Oh, who should Tottenham sign? Do you know, I think for me, I would say exactly the same shouts for Tottenham as I said for Arsenal.
Yeah.
In that striker position, because Richarlison cannot be your starting striker if you want to be pushing top 4. No. He can't be. And they may as well. They got all that. They got rid of Kane, and they've had a fantastic start to the season, but if they need someone to replace him long term, and it can't be Richarlison. Yeah. So,
or you could play Son up top and then put like a proper left winger on there. That's maybe like.
Who are they going to get at left wing though?
I don't know. I just think
Somerville.
What position does Rafinha play? Left. Or
Right.
Well, he's not actually in favour at Barcelona at the minute, so he could be a good shout.
He's proved he can do it in
They've got Kulusevski.
Yeah, he'd be a good
Kulusevski.
He'd be a good signing, but not for Tottenham.
Yeah.
Haven't they been linked with Tony as well? Spurs,
Yeah.
haven't they?
Yeah.
But
Why don't Liverpool get him when Salah goes to Saudi?
Get Rafinha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad move. There
Wouldn't
was
be
rumours of
terrible.
that originally.
yeah, I
wasn't
think
there?
yeah. Back in the day, I think.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Leeds and Rafinha.
Anyway, we need to stop talking about Leeds.
Yeah. The last team we've got is Chelsea.
Are they allowed to buy anyone else?
Chelsea.
I think they have to sell. They have to sell before they can buy, can't they? I think so. They're going to have a busy window.
Surely they can't sign more players.
It'd be kind of jokes if they did
But
that.
like, think about it. They've spent over $1 billion, and they don't have one world class player in that squad.
What do you mean? Have you not seen Nicholas
They've got some good players.
We're talking world class though. If we're talking,
I think Fernandes is. He's
Enzo.
Is it
He's
Enzo?
world class.
I think he's one of the best in his position. He's just playing in a completely
I don't.
crazy team.
I don't think
good
he's one of the
player.
best
He's a
in his
good player.
position.
I don't.
He's good, but I don't think he's one of the best
No.
centre mids in the world.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's up there. I think you probably he's not even top 10 in that position. I don't think.
No, I won't put him. I don't think. Would I put him top 10? We'll do this debate on a different show anyway. We've got one top 10 to
I just
go
think
over in a minute.
because there's so much, it's just a massive circus there, so everyone just looks like they're headless chickens, don't they? But Chelsea do have some really good players. Even Sterling, I think Sterling is still a great player.
Yeah, Sterling's good,
a great
Palmer's
player.
good,
They're not
Colwell's
the
good.
level of like I've spent £1 billion.
No, yeah, well, that's what I mean. When you look at that and then you look at the position, you think they must all be shit. But
I just think there's so many positions when I look at that Chelsea squad that still need improvement. It's baffling. Caicedo for me is... How the fuck did they spend that much on him?
Yeah.
How?
And was
But
it Lavia as well?
They've
wasn't
done it
from
before
Southampton?
though with Cucurella from Brighton.
Yeah, that was what was that? Was that 60 million or something?
Yeah, like that was 65 or something like that. He was a bag of washing, and then you've got.
You've come out with some crackers today. You.
Keep them coming. I love it. Absolutely love it.
He was a bag of washing. I've
Bag of spoons.
He was obviously shy, and then they've done it again, but spunked another 50
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah.
The 65.
So who could they sign in January to make them better?
More. We need
I mean,
more.
they need a striker, don't they? I suppose.
Evan Ferguson,
Yeah.
maybe.
Mm.
What could possibly go wrong for
I
a
think-
Brighton player?
Yeah.
Everyone just keeps saying Tony. Get Tony.
Get Tony, yeah.
Just get
Must be
Tony.
spinning at the moment.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah. He's absolutely
There's
killing
just
it.
a lot of teams out there that need a lot of work done in this. So it's basically.
Other than, to be honest, I think Liverpool and Arsenal are probably in the best position. In
Yeah,
the
we seem the most
Obviously
settled.
City, but
Well,
they
yeah,
don't
City
count.
as well. But yeah,
Yeah, I think
Arsenal for me are the best because all the players are so young.
they're the most settled. They've been together the longest. Well, that kind of group, isn't it? So,
But
yeah.
it's more the age of the squad. I think how young Arsenal's squad is means that you shouldn't worry about them for at least another couple seasons unless someone
they'll
like
get better.
unless someone gets crocked. Like
Well,
if
that's-
Saka or
yeah.
Martinelli got done and then they weren't the same player, which does happen.
That was like us with Liverpool when
Oh,
before we won the
yeah.
title. We had all the players like Mane, Salah, young ages, and we didn't hardly need to sign anyone for like
Yeah.
two years. So.
Do you think Arsenal are at a threat to maybe, for the best players like your Salibas, your Sakas, to get snapped up by the Galacticos of the world, let's say? 'Cause
Yeah.
Do you know? I was thinking this the other day, right? But if you look, especially attacking wise, Real Madrid's team at the minute is fucking incredible. Like you've got Vinicius, who's still really young and probably the best winger in the world, or at least top 3. And then you've got Rodrigo, who's still young and a fantastic player. You've got Bellingham, who's the best attacking mid in the world right now. I mean, obviously De Bruyne.
Probably the best player in the world at the moment. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe even just
Form
out and out.
wise,
Yeah,
probably.
And then in defence as well, you've got Carvajal's a bit older, but he's still fantastic. What's that? Well, the centre back's on my list, and I can't even remember his name. The Brazilian don, Militao.
Militao, David Alba's just amazing.
And
Tony Rudiger's amazing.
this is like Real Madrid's team at the minute is unbelievable, and they're not even top of the league.
They are.
Are
I
they?
think they just
They
went
are.
top.
Oh, I
didn't
thought
they?
it was
They are
Girona.
top of the league.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Double check.
I'd put 20 on it.
Yeah, I think they are.
But yeah, so I don't see where, especially attacking wise, they'd want to snag anyone from Arsenal. Barcelona can't afford it anymore. Bayern Munich.
Oh, they're joint top.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Bayern Munich haven't made
yeah,
a big
Verona
money
did that,
signing, bar Harry Kane. They never really do that. They just pick up players from Germany. So who's going to come in for these? I think the Premier League at the minute has just outpriced themselves from every other market.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, maybe you are right because their defenders are top tier. And but I guess if Saliba went to Madrid or something, if they needed him, then that could be a threat. But I don't know. I was just trying to throw an interesting question.
No, fair. I was just trying to answer it fairly. I'm waiting for the producer John to return so that we can get into one of the next debates. But
Here he comes.
here he is. What's he doing?
It's got the
What are you scoffing?
tea and biscuits by the looks. Or is it mince pie?
Yeah,
It's a bit
sit
of a
down.
I can hear a bit of a
Sit down
crunch.
first so the people can
Hear
hear
a bit
you.
of a
What are
crunch.
you don't swear at me.
You're now blocking the analysis as well, John. Producer John, sorry.
Come on, producer John.
Mini cheddars.
Mini cheddars. Damn, I've not even had any of them yet. And
We need to get a camera for him as well.
Yeah,
at
well,
some
I'm going to
point.
get one, but do you know how much
Get
these
one
bloody
looking
cameras
down.
cost?
Thought the TikTok views would be paying for that.
Yeah, I've made.
Have you got a Patreon? Have you got a Patreon?
Nah,
yet?
bro, we get about 4 viewers on these videos. It's just the clips that do
We're
well.
charging. We're charging now.
Next live stream, 20 quid, or you're not watching. Still, we'd need a lot of Patreons.
How is that not a handball there? That's such a handball.
Yeah, it definitely is handball. What do you think, Frankie? Penalty?
Yeah.
I mean, he's off balance.
He's playing
He just slaps
basketball.
it, doesn't he? Slaps it.
Yeah, that's comical.
Right, producer John, have you stopped scoffing your mini cheddars yet? Well done. Into the next debate, boys. I think this is a really fun one. I wanted to rank the top 10 centre-backs in the world right now. Who do you think are the top 10 centre-backs in the world?
Are we
start with
just chucking names?
No. We'll start with number 1. Frankie, who's the best centre-back?
Wow. Okay.
Who is the best centre-back in the world at this very moment?
Right. At this very moment, or let's say,
Like you could maybe take the last season into account.
could
like
I
the
take
last 12 months?
So I'm going to take the whole of this season, the whole of last season.
Well, yeah, because obviously I don't mean like the last 2 games. It's
So I'm going to go Ruben Diaz top for me.
just, same. He's my number 1.
Yeah, I'd probably say that, but obviously I think Van Dijk this season has been back to his best, and I think that's why we're doing a lot better as well.
Oh, fine. You're not going to like where Van Dijk is on my list. Number 2, I have gone for Saliba.
I think I've also
Well,
got him.
I'd say Diaz because obviously I had Van Dijk number 1. So
I should have.
Yeah,
I just assumed. I just knew.
I've got Saliba too as well.
So we've got Diaz and Saliba first and second. You've got Van Dijk first and Diaz second. Who have you got third then? Saliba.
Oh gosh, you're gonna hate this.
Who's your third best centre back in the world right now, Frankie? Who is it?
I'm gonna go Van Dijk actually. I'm gonna go Van Dijk. I've been swayed a little bit.
You got Van Dijk at third.
I don't know. I was debating on going for John Stones, and I'm actually saying it because
he's in my top 10.
Did John pull a face?
No. I just looked at the camera. Karen, you was debating John Stones.
I was debating John Stones because of the run last year in the Champions League was just amazing. Obviously, the fact that he can play in midfield is a bonus, but it's not necessarily like the reason why he's up there for me. But if you're talking about, I reckon in 5 years' time or even 10 years' time, we'll be thinking about a defender who's transformed a position. Just like when you look at Trent in the fullback position where he's essentially playing as a midfielder. You've got previous ball playing centre backs like Rio in the past. This is a whole different level, and understandably, I'm not making comparisons and saying he's better or anything like that. Obviously, the game allows him to be more influential on the ball because Pep's system, and but the fact that he can actually execute it is ridiculous.
Even when he was at Everton, you could tell he was.
And I think that just because he's great on the ball, he's also a fantastic defender as well. And I think that partnership with Diaz and Stones. You talk about Arsenal's centre back partnership. Just a bit of wriggling in the back there.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see.
Producer John, what are you doing?
Why is that there?
What are you doing? We need to get you a camera because you are taking liberties today.
Put your trousers back on.
What are you doing? Oh, that actually brought a tear to my eye. I was trying to listen to what you were saying, and it sounded like someone was. Bear in mind, you've got a microphone. That's the problem. And he's swearing at us now. Anyway, so you've got Stones where? Third best centre back.
Third, and then Van Dijk fourth.
So for me, I have De Ligt third.
Oh my God, no, he's not.
A few years ago, I'd say.
Third.
He's kind of gone off the
Third. You're off your marbles, mate.
Is he still playing for?
Yeah, he's still playing for Bayern Munich.
Is he starting though? Is he
I believe so. Yeah. It was close.
Mate, you're miles off it, I think.
Whoa.
He was. Well, what is he? He must be only like
He won the
25.
league last season, playing practically every game with Bayern Munich.
What? He won the league with Bayern Munich. So
but it was only by
I
a
don't even
point.
think he's the best player. I don't even think he's the best centre back at the club, mate.
Yeah, but who are you picking? The geezer you've never seen play?
I'd pick Kim over.
When have you
De
watched
Ligt.
him?
Oh yeah, he is.
I think he's better when he won the league with Napoli. Arguably more impressive.
Anyway, I thought De Ligt was always amazing when I've seen him play, and he's been doing it for many years now.
Yeah,
and he's still
he is a
miles
great-
off.
he's a
I
great
think producer
defender, he is.
John needs to sit next to you and maybe kick you off the desk, and you can be producer Joe.
Who have you got third?
We've
We've already done this, haven't
yeah. Who did I have
we?
third?
The way we're doing
I-
this,
so
you
there's-
actually
need to go.
I-
No,
Saliba
the problem
third.
it's because we've all said the same players, so it's like, oh well, yeah, he's my third, and then anyway, I've got fourth, Marquinhos.
He's on my list, but not that high up.
Come on though, he has literally been consistently the starting centre back at PSG for like 8 years.
It's PSG,
and
isn't
he's
it?
but he's still fantastic.
You've put Van Dijk below that,
Yeah,
and De Ligt below that.
yeah.
You miles off, mate.
I thought Van Dijk's been pretty good this season, but last
Obviously,
season he wasn't.
It wasn't last. No, but last season he wasn't. But this season he's been. I'd say he's been back.
He's
to the
actually in
best.
my honourable mentions, Marquinhos and De Ligt. They're not even in
So
my
they're
top
not even
10.
in your top 10 at all.
No,
See, that's wild.
that is a bit wild, to be fair.
I don't know
Might be.
who have you got over. So I don't,
Well, we'll find out. Let's not give
All
these
right,
bloody
so who have
spoilers,
you got
shall
for?
we? I've already said, because you're miles off it. I've already said it's Van Dijk.
who have you
I've
got?
gone the guy from Milan, Tomori.
Fourth.
Yeah, I think he's a great.
So you think Tomori's a better centre back than De Ligt or Marquinhos?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
I do.
I'm not sure.
No, he's
I
not.
don't think you can say that.
Victor Tomori.
I think he's a. I just think he goes under the radar because he's playing in Milan. But when he's played for England, he's played well. I think he's. A great
I like Tomori,
Very,
but
very good
he's not
defender.
even in my top. Yeah, he's not even in my top 10. I had to double check. I was like, is he?
Football, that's why.
Nah, is he in your top 10 Tomori?
No, he's
Good
not.
player. Good
Who
player.
have you got fifth, Frankie? Fifth best centre
I
back.
think my list, right, people just listen to my list because it's better, I think. Ronald Arejo, Barcelona.
Yep.
Fantastic centre back. This guy is going to the very top. Last year, Barcelona's defence was, I think it was the best in Europe. I remember checking up in March, and I think they conceded like 15 goals in March. Loads of clean sheets. This guy is ridiculous. He's certainly in the top 10. I've put him in my top 5. You know, that's up for debate. I also think my 6 and 7 are pretty good as well, but let me know your thoughts.
I think, yeah, it's a big shout. He's in my list, but he's not quite that high. But he's just a fantastic centre-back. Yeah. And I think, given his age as well, he'd get into any team in the world right now on a pretty regular basis.
How old is he?
25.
Yeah.
24, 25.
Yeah, maybe even 23. No. I'm not sure. I have got Virgil van Dijk 5th. He's finally made his appearance.
Oh, there he is.
He could, to be fair, I think Diaz and Saliba as the top 2 should be that for most people other than a Liverpool fan. Whereas I think the next couple are quite easy to interchange.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose maybe I'm just going on this season, I suppose, because he was poor last season, Van Dijk.
I expected more of a bite then. I can't lie. I thought that'd work.
Not worth it.
Shake of the head and a
roll of the eyes.
Who have you got 6th? Oh, wait, have we?
I've gone 5th, so I've Kim from Bayern Munich.
Yep.
I think he's really, really good as well. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
He's also on my list a little bit low down. I've got Militao at 6. I know he is injured, but I think we need to incorporate some Champions League success stories as well. He was one of the leaders in that Champions League run-in. Also, another person on my list will also, we'll say him now. Tony Rudiger's on there as well.
He's not on mine.
I've got Varane on mine as well, even though he's
Varane.
Yeah.
Wait, you think Varane's top
Varane?
10? Wait.
Still, I do.
You mean the man who's
I know. Well, that's what I mean. He's
worse
playing,
than Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire at the minute?
He's still a quality player, though.
I can't have Varane.
No, we can't. I'm putting my foot down. Both feet are down.
But he's still a quality defender. He's just playing in an absolute shit show.
Yeah, but that means, like, right now, you can't say
We're talking about the creme de la creme of positions.
He just can't be top 10 in the world.
He's still there. He's still up there. He has to be. Still up there.
I agree that if he went somewhere else, he'd probably do much better, but I simply cannot have him in my top 10 list.
On that basis, though, we can't do these if, buts and maybes when we're talking about top 10. I think we go solid, like what's happening right now, or at least what was happening.
Whenever he's played, I know, that's what I mean, it's just hard to like gauge it because United are so shit at the moment, but when he has played well, and he has made a little bit of a difference.
Lissandro Martinez is higher up than Varane.
Yeah, I would actually have
on the list.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, that Varane's out, right.
Oh yeah, get those clicks in.
Honestly, TikTok is going to be flying.
Varane is wild.
Flying.
6th, I've got Stones.
You know how high I rate him. So,
so who have you got 6th, Frankie?
Mate, are you going to ask me the same question about 6 times?
What?
I've already said Militao and Rudiger.
Oh, well, yeah. You see, this is the problem. Like, I do it number by number.
Thank God this is going to be clipped up because
you keep giving me 2 at once. I'm like, what's your number 6? And you name 3 players.
But I've said my 6 and 7, and then you've asked for my 6. If you asked my 7th, at least then I'd be like, right, fair enough. I was a bit greedy there. I've said 2 in a row. But you've said 6 again. Then you said 5 before. Miles off, mate. John, little seat over here.
John didn't even say oh.
Substitution.
John, do you want to come have a go?
At least if he's not saying it,
John, do you think that Varane's top 10 centre backs in the world right now?
He can't hear you.
I agree with Simon. If you put him in an half decent team,
if you put him in a decent team,
he went shut up, mate.
It's because he's playing with shit around him.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, but again,
it's not his fault.
Yeah, but that's the point of the list.
We're talking about people like who are just transforming their team regardless of how shit they were before.
Imagine how worse they'd be without him.
Exactly.
Wow.
What do you mean? They're not playing him? He's not even starting.
Well, I think he was ill today. I think he had the sniffles.
He was
today.
ill.
He had a sniffle for
Mentality monster.
He was ill today.
Monster. He's had a cold, bless him.
He's had a sniffle.
So he's missed the Liverpool game.
Get him out the list. He's got a sniffle.
Oh, God.
So you
immune
give 6
system
and 7.
Immune system is a category.
7. Stones for me is definitely there as well.
Okay, and mine was Militao. So it's kind of.
Are you going to ask me for my 7th again?
I'm going to ask you for your 8th.
Oh wow. Well, let me just pull out my phone because it's.
I feel like my number 8 is going to cause some
I've got Kim from Bayern actually as my 8. So yeah.
I've got Botman.
Wow.
I think he's incredible, and I think he is in a much worse team overall than a lot of the other people on this list. So I can give him
Really
a bit more credit. I expected you two to hammer me for that one.
No,
I
he's
did
good,
the
he's
wow,
good.
wow, wow.
Was that you hammering me?
I've hammered so much in this 10-minute clip. I'm running out of hammering juice. My
Pause.
pause. Oh God, yeah. My hammer is now blunt, so yeah, it's
It's game over.
is that pause? I don't know if that's
I know that one's not quite as bad. Who did you have at 8? Simon?
I've gone for, even though he's injured at the moment, it's Matip for Liverpool. I think he's the most underrated defender in the league. He is. Because you guys support Leeds United, you don't know who good centre-backs are, I'm telling you.
On that note, I'd rather have Ben White at centre back.
Honestly.
I'm crying.
Why are you crying? Are you telling me Joel Matip's not a good centre-half? Are you telling me he's not a good centre-half?
He's good. He's pretty good.
He's a very good centre-half.
He's all right. I don't know about top 10 though.
Yeah. He's up there.
Oh no,
You were literally saying the other day, not the other day,
About
fucking
10
10 minutes ago,
minutes.
you need to use
Yeah, because he's injured. That's why. That's why, and he's not a left-sided one.
Do you know? I do actually think
He is good.
I do actually think he's all right, but
He's
I
a
wouldn't.
good, he's a
What's
good
the
centre-half.
Gabriel's better than him? Worse than him, sorry.
To be honest, I think if Matip's playing at his peak, he's one of the best defenders in the world. He is.
I don't know why that was so funny.
Because he doesn't look. I give him. He doesn't look like a centre half because he's really gangly. I get that. But he is a really good centre half.
I think he is actually quite a good footballer. I just wasn't expecting it. It caught me off guard. Frankie, I don't know. Realistically, he's not even that much of a stranger shout than Botman, but it just got me.
Botman's good as well.
I just think if this list was in like 2020, you'd have a point, but it's just.
But Matt, before he got injured, Matip got injured this season, he was probably playing as good as Van Dijk.
Yeah, last season he probably was actually as good as Van Dijk.
No, I mean like this season.
Or even this year.
Yeah, even this season. One of the main reasons why we are fighting at the top is because of those two.
To be fair, when I actually logically
Speak to any
think
Liverpool
about
fan, they'd say the same.
But
He's
I
a
logically
really good
think about
player.
it. If you replaced him with some of the ones on my list, it wouldn't be too far off.
Oh,
So I don't-
I've calmed down.
There was no need for that out there. No need for that. Use your heads,
I
boys.
think it just got me.
No, I still think he's not there. He's not there.
Arsenal are through.
Oh, well done.
It's a
Konate.
great tackle.
I think you go. I've got Gabriel 9th.
Gabriel
personally.
9th.
Yeah.
I've got Alaba 9th.
I've got Alaba as my honourable mention. I took him out just because I know he's obviously he's transitioned into a centre back. But then again, I'm tempted to go Koundé as well at Barca.
I've still got a giggle in me. Do you know when you can't quite
tickled
take
you.
yourself
Tickled you.
seriously?
I'll go Marquinhos 10.
Wow, I'm surprised you put him in. Well, Simon, who was 9th?
Alaba for me.
Alaba,
Yeah,
9th.
Alaba's just outside for me. Delict. Can't believe you put him 3rd, mate.
I just think he's a good centre back. Whenever I've seen,
Well, yeah,
him
they're
play-
all good.
Whenever I've seen him play, because he was at Ajax, wasn't he, and then at Juventus,
Yeah.
and then at Bayern Munich. So he's played for 3 top teams, and whenever I've seen him, I've never seen him put a foot wrong. Like obviously,
He's
I
a
don't,
beast, isn't he? He's
I don't
massive.
watch the international game as much as I watch the Premier League, and that's why there was a fair few Prem players on here. But Delit's one of those.
Honourable mentions as well. I think some of the Spurs fans will be a bit pissed off with us. I think
yeah.
obviously it's too early to say, and the Van der Ven's injured, but mate,
Yeah, he was good.
he is unbelievable. That boy.
He's good. And then I've got
But
Araujo.
obviously he's not top
10.
10 because we are logical fans over here in this
So
corner.
let's give our full top 10. Just read the list out because I've butchered this clip anyway. So trying to put it together is going to be impossible.
Fantastic.
But my top 10 centre backs in the world right now, from first, Liverpool are through. Should have done better. My top 10 centre backs in the world right now, from 1st to 10th, goes Ruben Diaz, Saliba, De Ligt, Marquinhos, Van Dijk in 5th, Stones in 6th, Militao in 7th, Botman in 8th, Alaba in 9th, and Araujo in 10th.
I'm waiting for him to read out his. It's only going to get me going. I've got.
I'm going to put mine out there. Matip number 1. Nobody else. Maybe Van Dijk.
The Matip shout got like. I think Matip should be in there over Varane. I don't know why I didn't find the Varane one even funnier.
You can't deny they're not brilliant defenders. They're just
no Varane though. I can at the minute because he's not played well. I just think, Matip, I actually get. I don't know why it got me so much, but he was just him as well. I looked up at him and he was
top 10 midfielders. Luka Modric top.
Do your top 10.
Ruben Diaz top. William Saliba 2nd. John Stones number 3. Van Dijk number 4. Ronald Araujo 5. Militao 6. Rudiger 7. Kim 8. Gabriel 9. Marquinhos 10.
Simon.
So I went Van Dijk.
Liverpool close again.
Gomez, what's he doing there? Number 1 Van Dijk. Diaz. Matip, followed by Matip, and then Matip again.
I'm over it now.
I can't remember my top 10 if I'm brutal. I didn't do the homework if I'm brutally honest.
It's not as wrote down.
Clearly.
No. But Matip is up there. He is up there.
Fair. I think there's...
Even though he may have played his last game for us because he's obviously done his cruise ship.
I actually kind of get it. There's a slight bit of bias, but I do kind of get it. It's like when...
He was one of the main reasons why we did so well over the last few years.
Yeah.
I know other players get headlines.
No,
But
I don't think he's a bad player. Like he's probably on a similar level if you took into account the last few years as to what Gabriel has been on the last couple of years. But Arsenal are just very on form right now, so it's easier to say them.
To be fair, I'm not. I wouldn't be pissy if someone was like Gabriel, you're miles off. He's not top 10. I mean, I could easily in between Gabriel, Marquinhos, Koundé, Alaba, De Ligt. Like I'm sort of indifferent where they rank. They're obviously in and around the top 10.
They're not nailed on.
Yeah, but like when you say them, those top 6, I'd say are pretty nailed on.
Do you know what that list? When I put this one forward, we did strikers the other week, and I think strikers is automatically a more fun one just because it's attacking players. But I thought centre backs might go quite badly, and despite the fact I don't know if it'll ever make a YouTube clip because we went here, there, and everywhere, it was quite funny. In moments.
It was a good exercise.
I know, we need to do centre mids next. But the thing is, would you would you even split that up?
You do DMs, you do cams or
defensive mids and attacking mids.
Make it 3 videos. Come on, mate. You're not a content creator for nothing.
Whoa. That fully had me. That.
Wow.
What's happened in the game? Has anyone been watching?
No, I've not seen it. One bit.
Liverpool have had a good few positions and opportunities, but the final ball's been poor.
Yeah, it seemed like it's been a little bit more dead in the second half. I feel like I'm lost now. I feel like I don't know what to... Havertz, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Wasn't on the list, but he's had a fantastic last couple of games. Do we think we're seeing a Havertz redemption arc right now?
He's doing well. He's playing well. It's probably, natural maybe give him a few, a bit of time for him to get used to everything, all that kind of stuff, playing in a new team. But I don't know, I just think the price tag's probably weighing on him a bit, and there's a lot of eyes on him, I think. But he's done well the last few games, definitely.
I think realistically, most signings that come into a new team, you expect them to take a little while to bed in. But Havertz was getting hammered from day one, whereas now he's had that time to bed in. He seems to actually be doing okay. And he's never been particularly bad on the ball or anything. It's just the end product for him that's always lacked. But I could see him at the end of the season actually finishing with decent stats overall. Like if he has like a cheeky 8 goals, 8 assists or something, come the end of the season.
Yeah. I think he was significantly hampered by, he's a very weird or strange profile because, you can't really play him as a 9. He's not really a 10. So he's like, a 9.5? What do you want to call him?
A left back for Germany.
Is he pacey? Has he got pace?
He's relatively quick, yeah.
So on that basis, I think people judged him as a striker, and he's not really a striker. And because he's got quite a nonchalant, movement style, people call him lazy or clueless or dopey or something.
Just insulting him at this point.
I said people call him. I'm not calling him that.
You never do.
Yeah. So and obviously he's found a bit of form now. He's scoring goals. Obviously he's getting in. He is getting in really good positions. Though I would say the way that he's scoring isn't as convincing as you'd obviously like. I still don't think he's hit his peak yet. I think 6 months down the line, if he continues this, it could be really, really interesting to see how far he can go. But
he's one of those players I've always had a soft spot for some reason. Do you know when someone you kind of want to see do well just because they've got slammed?
Was it Leverkusen?
Yeah, Leverkusen. He was really good.
Well,
since he came to the Premier League, it's like no one's been able to find his anything, his strength.
I still don't know where his position is.
Yeah, you just don't know, do you?
Like right now, he's obviously in a midfield three, and you'd probably say that Odegaard and Havertz occupy sort of, they interchange, don't they? In those attacking areas, those pockets of space. But I wouldn't be like with Odegaard. I'd say right, you're an out and out number 10.
Yeah.
And Havertz, you fill in the gaps. Like it's tough, and let's say he was, let's say the main man, and you'd play him in his position.
Is he good enough?
Where would you put him? Do you know what I mean?
I think his main position is an attacking midfielder. That's what he came in as anyway.
Yeah, that's what he's. Yeah, that's what he seems like.
That's what I think. If I was going to pick one position for Havertz, it would definitely be an attacking midfield role. But he's just never been better than.
Can he find a pass though? Can he find a pass like? Because I feel he's more of a. I don't know.
I just see him as a little slinkster.
I think
he's good at like link up play,
Yeah.
not particularly like a De Bruyne finding a long ball or like an over the top through ball. But in terms of like link up play, strength, holding the ball up, being able to quickly move about, he's quite good at that.
Yeah.
But that's what I think a lot of the time as well. I saw a lot of people saying this at the start of the season when he was getting slammed. Even at Arsenal at the start, before he added a couple goals and assists, people were saying, yeah, but he's actually playing okay. Like, his link-up play might not lead to an assist, but if it wasn't for him being in the positions...
I think that's the bigger thing. It shouldn't be... The headline shouldn't be, he scored 4 in 4 or whatever it is. It should actually just be his link-up play is better. And it has been better. It has significantly improved to what it was at the start of the season.
Well, I hope he keeps it up for some strange reason. Still 1-1 in the game now, heading into the 60th minute. Saka puts it across.
Dangerous pass. Oh, Odegaard's picked it up on the edge of the box. Zinchenko.
Pings it over the bar. Not even close to going on target there from Zinchenko.
Yeah.
Oof. Anyway, another debate. Well, this isn't really a debate. It's more a discussion. There's nothing to debate because I think we're all on the same page, and I think practically every football fan is. But I wanted to talk about the proposed European Super League and the developments with that throughout the week. So obviously you had Barcelona and Real Madrid effectively signed up to be a part of this new Super League, and it's been knocked back again by UEFA. What are your thoughts on it, boys? Where do you think football in general should stand on the Super League?
I don't know. Like I say, it doesn't surprise me that those two clubs have said yes to it or led the way because they're desperate for it to happen because their financial situations are just terrible, aren't they? So it's no surprise. But what some of the other clubs that have signed up, is it some like random ones that you just?
Well, I think a couple of teams have thought of it, but I think those two are the only
it's just two.
out of the big clubs that have agreed to it.
United have rejected it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said they've fully backed UEFA.
Yeah, Liverpool said something similar.
Have
well.
they?
Yeah.
And then
Chelsea did as well, I think.
Yeah, so I think the Prem clubs, by the sound of it, are against it because obviously you've got a situation now where the independent regulators are going to be in next year, aren't they, in the UK, and they have the authority to actually take an English team out of the Prem if they were to join the Super League or whatever they are going to rebrand it as, which is good. That obviously puts other teams in the Prem and the entire football pyramid in a good position. But what I would say is I don't agree that UEFA and FIFA, whoever you want to call them, have all the power.
Yeah.
And it's obviously the Champions League's fantastic. I love it. It's obviously the pinnacle of football, and I do actually quite like how it's set up. In terms of the top four get it. But do I think that UEFA having all this power is the right thing? No, it's obviously fucked us in the past, hasn't it?
Isn't it? It's changing next season, isn't it? Champions League.
They've rolled back the changes, I think.
Oh, have they?
They've gone back on what they proposed.
Have they? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so I believe next season it's going to be exactly the same as it is this year, but they are still considering
the coefficient thing where they have.
Yes.
But yeah, wasn't whatever it was. It was like the groups were, or was it just like 2 leagues or something like that. And
Yeah,
you
it
played,
was
10
like
games.
leagues instead of groups.
Yeah. So like was there 2
yeah.
leagues or something? Or you played 10.
and then they went home and
games.
away, and then that was that. Yeah, they've changed that anyway. But I completely agree with you on the fact of I think UEFA having all the power is dangerous because it's been that way for so long and no one's really challenged it. So I actually think a bit of a challenge like we're seeing now is good because it makes them think, right, how can we actually make this better for football fans so they stay on our side? Because I think we were quite... If I was them, I'd be feeling quite lucky that the Super League was such a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because do you remember when the original proposal came around and all the clubs had actually signed up for it and they all announced it? That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in football.
So surreal, wasn't it? It was just bizarre. It's like how could you be doing this? Like obviously clear why you're doing it for financial reasons, but you just can't do that.
Yeah, but I remember every single football fan was so upset with it. And then within 72 hours, 9 of the clubs had pulled out of it, other than the Spanish teams, obviously, who really need that money. Yeah. But I think it leads on to a larger point for me. And I may have mentioned this before on the show, but I don't think we jumped into it much. I think there's going to be a real issue in coming years with the discrepancy between Premier League teams and other big teams from different countries. Because I think the amount of money that English teams get from, for example, Sky, etc., and how like well the football pyramid's set up for our scouting purposes, etc., in comparison to Spain and Italy, I think Germany's a little bit better, but in comparison to Spain and Italy, I do think we're going to start to see some of those teams drop off. Obviously, I was mentioning Real Madrid have a fantastic squad at the moment. You've seen Barcelona teeter, and then they're doing a bit better again now, but they're not doing unbelievable this season. Last season, they did really well. But I just think the level of players that they're going to be able to sign in another 5 years might really start to pale in comparison.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's weird though. You still see him smash it in the Champions League. I mean, you look at La Liga. Was it all 4 teams get through to the next round? Maybe not Atletico.
I'm not sure. I think
Atletico.
I think all of them did.
Yeah. So
Sociedad did as well, didn't they?
They topped their group. Mate.
Yeah.
So they've performed better than we have this year in the Champions League. I mean, we only got 2 through out of 4. And United and Newcastle, we know how they did. Bottom of the groups each.
True. Yeah.
So it's like, obviously, you fancy Arsenal and City to go, very far in the competition. But what I'm saying is, obviously, we are looking at, down the line, 5-10 years, a massive financial discrepancy. And then, maybe we do have a conversation of the Champions League. It's, not what it used to be because you don't have... I mean, you look at the last 16 now, and I'm not gassed about many of the matchups.
There's no... big ones, is there? It's
you look at the quality of teams. Obviously, Liverpool aren't in there. You look at the quality of teams. There's probably about 5 that are like, right, these are the big dogs, and there's a big drop off after that, and that's probably a big factor. You've got Bayern, you've got City, you've got Arsenal, you've got Madrid, you've got Barca, and then you go, what's
not
next?
much else there, is there?
Yeah, I quite like having some of these other teams in it, though, personally. I think that
it
underdog
mixes
story...
it up a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I genuinely... Because when we get to the later rounds, some of those will probably get through. And when you see, hopefully, like a Sociedad playing one of the
Previously,
big
though,
dogs,
you'd go like Inter Milan, AC Milan, you'd be like, wow.
There'd be some like big names in there.
And obviously, they're still in there. There's in like Inter, they're still qualified. But you don't look at Inter and go, that's the Inter of old. They've obviously dropped off.
Well, I don't know. They did get to the semi-final last year.
Final.
What's the final?
Or was it
Final.
Inter in the final?
Yeah.
So
But-
why do you not think that?
Well, just the
They were
draw.
effectively the second best team in the year last year.
Yeah,
world
but,
last
I
year.
mean, City and Madrid weren't they? City, because of the draw, AC played Inter in the semi-finals.
Well, I know, but that's not exactly... Still,
it's obviously a factor.
to get to the Champions League final last year,
You've got to be
excite me.
decent. I just don't think Serie A is a particularly good league anymore. I don't think it has been for a while now. So
No, I don't think it's as good as it used to be, but I actually think, in a weird way, Juventus's fall off has helped Serie A catch up a bit because it's meant like we've seen Napoli win the league and AC and Inter have started
made it
It's a
better.
really
It's a spectacle.
exciting
Yeah.
prospect of, there's multiple teams that can win it. I'm just talking about the actual star quality of each team. You look at AC Milan, they've got Leao, who's obviously like far and away their best player.
He was on my list for Man United signings, actually, and I forgot to say him.
Yeah, a bit late for that, mate. But then you look at previous Milan teams. Like obviously these like my favourite teams. You've got like Kaká, you've got
Ronaldinho.
Maldini and fucking.
Was Ronaldinho at Milan?
Yeah. He was at Milan, and you don't it's just not the same, is it? It's not the same now. And I feel like you've seen a big shift over the past 10 years with Inter. And I think, some of that does obviously have to play a part towards the finances.
Yeah, 100%. But at the same time, I think we could see it all come back around, if that makes sense.
It could be a cycle.
I think Spain had this down period for a couple of years in the last few years when Messi left Barca and Ronaldo had left Madrid. Who was really there that anyone cared about? I know Benzema was still smashing it, but it was not quite the same level.
Literally for 2 years though. And
no, I know, but now it's Bellingham, isn't it?
Bellingham, Vinny. Oh.
Yeah, but even a few years ago, Juventus had Ronaldo for a couple of seasons, or was it 1 or 2 seasons?
It was about 3, I think.
Was it 3? Yeah, so 3. That was the star there. Did they have anyone else? It's always been Juventus, hasn't it? Chiellini, players like that. I know he's just Buffon was a big name, but yeah, even he lasted the previous period that you were talking about as well. But what do you think UEFA can do to keep on top of the ball? Would you make any changes to the current Champions League setup to improve it?
I think I would. I mean, I've always been in the opinion if you're if you're in league and you win the league, you are the best. I'm saying most teams or any team can win a cup competition. Mm-hmm. Champions League is a cup competition, even though you have to be amazing to be in it. I do quite like the idea of a league format in the Champions League because it's like you say, it's more, you can really, really see who's the best. Knockout rounds, anything can happen, dodgy refereeing decision, own goal, things like that can send you through. But I think, a league format always tells you who is the best. So I don't know, it'd be maybe good for a change.
I don't know. I think about what's the best spectacle in football. It's the World Cup, and the World Cup's not a league.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like the word. I prefer Champions League.
I think the most amazing spectacle. Obviously, that's, to be honest, the World Cup's a bit extreme because it's like 7. It's literally 7 games to the final.
Yeah.
You play each other once in the group. I don't like that aspect in the Champions League because it's every season and you actually want to see, like you mentioned, who's the best. But I think you'd lose a bit if it's like, well,
if there was a team that ran away with it,
looks like City going to win the Champions League this year because they've beaten everyone, over the course of this
that
season.
Is true. I didn't think of it.
You'd just be like, who the fuck cares? It's just, you wouldn't care, would you? Really?
I just think, obviously when Liverpool won it in 2005, we were not the best team in Europe. Like, we hit the post.
That's what you want, though. That's football.
Yeah, it's the excitement, and it's like, I get it, but I think, I don't know, if you win the league, you are the best, and no one can take that away from you, and I just think... And also, I don't know. It's just an idea. I don't know. But
would that take more games as well?
And, well, that's the thing. It would. You'd have to have more games.
Schedules is already too.
I do think it would give you a better
indication.
It'd clearly say who is the best team in the world because I think that someone would run away with it most seasons, though.
Well, City probably would, wouldn't they? But
and that would make it a little bit boring, a little bit sad.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it probably does need shaking up somehow. I just think the group stages now they're so
I do think the groups are drawn out. They are a bit shit. Maybe there's an option to put the best teams together in the groups somehow.
Yeah,
so they play. So you get like really good, exciting matchups at the beginning, rather than these. City can play Leipzig for the 6th time in a row.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was really good to see that, group of death with, Newcastle, with AC Milan, PSG, Dortmund. But it's so rare that happens. You might get one.
But that's the thing,
year.
though, because there's always going to be times when there's teams that you wouldn't particularly want to put in a group like that are in the competition. So where are you going to put them? Like realistically, we like Newcastle because we're English, but if you're probably Spanish or Italian, you're thinking, I don't give a fuck if we play Newcastle. Yeah. You wouldn't care. You'd be like, who are they? So then they'll look at it in a completely different light. Yeah. So then who are you going to class as these big teams to put in the good groups?
Well, I think what you do is you can put the winners of each league in.
Liverpool have got an unbelievable counter attack here.
5 on 2.
Come on,
Salah
first time.
Plays it to Trent. Hits the cross.
Skied it. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think they were gonna score there.
That's an unbelievable opportunity that Liverpool have just missed.
Christ.
Oh, what a turn from Zini.
That was Matip, he would have buried that.
And now Arsenal. Oh no, straight through to Alisson.
There's definitely another goal in this. Can feel it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, where were we? What I was saying was, I think maybe you could, because obviously in the Prem you've got first and all the way down to fourth. Get of course qualified for the Champions League. Maybe you could put all the teams who come first in the same group or something like that, and then maybe weight that so then there's more of those teams go through to the next round because they're rewarded for winning the league. But then you get exciting matchups at the beginning.
Yeah, that'd actually be quite a good shout. But then the argument is, well, why if we finish first are we at a disadvantage in Europe?
But no, you wouldn't. You'd somehow weight it so like more of that group go through or something. So like you get rewarded. So
why
like,
wouldn't you do it so if you're first, you don't even play in the group stage?
Well, then that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. We'd have even more doldrum group
Yeah, but there'd
stage.
be less group stage. There'd be less of it.
I do quite like it though.
Yeah, well, make your mind up, mate.
Well, I personally don't think there's that much wrong with it.
No, I don't.
I just think the group,
I think the way
group
it is
stage is just a bit drawn out.
Do you know what I think could actually be a good shout? I think keep it how it is, and then once every 4 years, like the World Cup, do a league. So keep it like it is, and then once every 4 years, because you could class that as like it gives teams a chance to recycle the squad a little bit and get stuff ready for it. You have that league competition where that's like, then you know that for the next 4 years you're going to be the top dogs, and then the rest of it's like the cup.
And the thing is, I actually wouldn't particularly mind. You know, obviously the Super League, I fucking hate the idea of no relegation, and that's certainly not an option at all. And I'm certainly don't think that would ever get approved either.
It was the no relegation that got me.
Yeah,
you can't just have it be certain teams, because like look at Villa right now; they deserve to be in a European competition come the end of this season.
Yeah. But with something like that where it's like a mega competition, I wouldn't mind that if it was every 4 years. If as soon as it's every year and it disrupts what
Liverpool
we've got
with a corner here,
it's gonna ruin it.
Liverpool have had a few floating opportunities here. What were you saying, Frankie? Sorry.
I just said every 4 years wouldn't be as bad. Essentially,
I'd like a league every UEFA. I know you're listening. Every 4 years, do a league competition that kind of decides the best team in the world for the next 4 years, because it's a more safe option, and then just do a usual Champions League every year, bar that.
Isn't the Club World Cup thing that's like going to be every 4 years or something like that? They've expanded that.
I have that.
Like Chelsea and Man City have qualified for whenever it is. I think there's some expansion thing going on that they've done.
I don't even really know what the Club World Cup is.
It's going to be in the summer now, I think.
Does anyone watch that though?
What was the Club World Cup? Did they just play like Flamengo yesterday or something?
Yeah, that's
Was that just one? Was that just a one game?
They played like a semi-final. I think the European and Brazilian or South American ones, they come in at the semis. So then you've got like the AFCON one, Asian one, I think as well, and Australasia one as well. So they play like the quarters, and then it's kind of
so the winner of effectively the Champions League in other regions.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
That's pretty dead to me. Though.
Yeah, that's shit.
Just because the other regions are all crap.
I think the South Americans, they care for that a lot more than Europeans.
Do you know, it's actually a real shame to me that the Brazilian teams and Argentinian teams aren't of better quality, because the atmosphere and stuff in those is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I wish that they were actually better, because imagine an away day where it would have to be like every 4 years, but imagine like all the Boca Juniors fans been in England, or all the English fans
to
been
Millwall.
It'd be hectic, wouldn't it? Go to Millwall. It'd be more than hectic. It'd be deadly.
I think the South Americans would absolutely twat Millwall fans.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, they'd have them.
Have them for brekkie.
I love how Millwall are seen as the epitome of wanker football fans.
Really nice blokes.
Just misunderstood characters, aren't they?
Millwall and West Ham aren't actually that bad, are they?
No, that's all.
Anyway, does anyone want another drink?
It's
near Christmas, boys.
I'm all right.
I'd love a beer. I'd love a beer.
Well, it's time to try a new beer, Frankie.
Oh.
It's a fearful moment for you. So we've got a jasmine flower rice lager.
Wow. Show the camera, guys.
Show that camera behind you. Producer John didn't go to the right camera then, but you know, did he move? I think producer
He's
John might
getting
be in trouble.
sacked in the
I think
morning.
he's had one too.
I think you're in trouble
for
for your... all three are in trouble, actually. I think I might just run this show from here on in.
What do you want? Do you want a beer, producer John?
That's not gonna end well. That is it.
I'm not having that one.
Yeah, I don't want you to have that one either. Well, what is going on here?
You're useless.
Oh, no.
Bloody hell.
Producer John, a beer for you.
The joy of having long arms, though.
It's all right. At least we're not live.
All right, boys, I've got a non-football question for you. Christmas is in 2 days. Thanks for giving me your time so close to Christmas as well, both of you. What do you think is essential on a Christmas dinner? What would Christmas dinner be lacking the
Pigs
most?
and blankets.
Blankets, definitely. Yeah.
That's the easy answer, isn't
Yeah.
it? What else? Everyone loves a pig in blanket.
But you've got,
yeah.
you've
Don't
got,
mind that.
you've
Don't
got to have
mind that.
turkey. I know people have ham, things like that, but you've got to have turkey, haven't you? You've got to have turkey.
Yeah, turkey is the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Turkey, yeah. Turkey's gravy, obviously. I mean,
Sprouts.
that goes without saying.
I'm all right.
It's not bad, is it, Joe?
Oh,
That's a nice beer, actually. Yeah.
I don't get them. I'm not getting rice vibes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what rice really tastes like in liquid form, so I can't judge it. But it is a nice beer. I think turkey, sprouts, pigs in blankets.
Roast potatoes.
Yeah, but we just need I feel. Is there anything that's specific to Christmas really? Because really, Christmas dinner is just like
Stuffing.
a mega. It's just a mega Sunday dinner, isn't it?
What
With pigs in blankets,
I heard the other day, right? Well, not the other day. It was actually last Christmas because I was getting
Gave you my heart.
I was getting roasted by my southern mates, and because I had a Yorkshire pudding.
No.
You're saying no Yorkshire puddings on Christmas dinner?
No, you shouldn't have Yorkshire pudding on Christmas dinner. Never had them as a kid.
What do you think, Simon?
I do love a Yorkshire pudding.
On
a
Christmas.
I don't know if I've never. I can't remember if I've ever had one.
Why?
Never had a Yorkshire
wrong
pudding.
I don't think I've
You
ever
see,
had one
no,
on
it's
Christmas
What's wrong
Day.
with that?
What are you? You were here eating one last year.
Yeah, but when we first started, Josh were giving them as a starter. He didn't serve it with your Christmas dinner.
Well, just tell me why wouldn't you have it?
Because you've got enough other stuff that you wouldn't normally have on a Sunday dinner normally that you don't need the Yorkshire pudding.
There
So
is
you
no
want-
everything.
No, but
on-
like it's obviously
No,
the
but-
dinner will be improved with
When-
the
It
Yorkshire
Takes up a
pudding.
lot of room on the plate, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
we were poor-
practical reasons.
When
yeah.
we were poor and young, Yorkshire puddings were cheap to make, so you use them as filler because you didn't have enough other stuff on
Saka
plate.
in the
They're
box for
banging though.
Arsenal.
They're like one of the best things that part of the meal.
Saka.
Never had them.
Oof.
Look, I think obviously tradition's great.
Stuffing.
But
Yorkshire pudding's
innovation's
top
great
tier.
as well. Innovation's maybe better than tradition.
Yeah, you've got to have Yorkshire pudding. I mean, obviously stuffing, but that's
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Pigs in blankets, you have to have.
Yeah.
You have to have.
compulsory.
an obscene amount as well. So you
And
can
that
just
is
be
something you wouldn't normally have on a real Sunday dinner. So that
Exactly,
is
yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, pigs in blankets is a treat, really, isn't
Yeah.
it? And if you're having pigs in blankets on every Christmas dinner,
Or every dinner, you mean?
yeah, on every dinner. Sorry,
You've lost
then
it,
you're
mate.
rich.
I think you need to go to bed.
It's been a long day, lad. It's been an exciting day. You can't expect me to go to Ellen Road and watch the best game I've ever seen and then just be
What?
on it.
Best game
What?
you've ever seen.
Best game you've ever seen.
We
Probably.
beat one of it's up there, yeah.
Fuck me.
We just beat second in the league 4-0 in a
Easily pleased,
completely
mate.
easily pleased.
What about them Blackburn games when we scored 6 minutes into injury
Yeah, but this
time?
was just relaxed. I wasn't anxious at any point. It was just like,
It's
yeah,
better to be anxious. That's what it's all about.
maybe.
Oh,
Get
that's
up.
not a foul. Get up. I think we're all over the place in a minute, aren't we, boys?
Yeah.
We've got 10 minutes left.
What?
Havertz.
What is that? How have you
Scuffs it.
tried scuffing his
Kanate has
Trivella?
been a beast. He's played really well, Kanate.
Even better than Matip.
No, don't go that far. That's insane.
I'm looking at this. The thing is, he was
There was a
falling
nudge,
already.
but it's oof.
The problem now is because Trent, look at it, Trent kicks down the back of his leg.
Oh no, he trails his leg deliberately. You
Yeah.
scumbag.
I would never give that as a penalty.
They'll bring it back in like 10 minutes and give them a penalty. Don't worry about it. That's what they'll do.
VAR.
That's what they definitely did for you last time as well. So. Uh-oh.
Well, Arsenal seem to have picked it up in the last 10, 15.
We just need to get hold of the ball.
Liverpool, that opportunity
Oh.
for Trent a bit ago needed to go in, really, didn't it? I think that's the
Keep it
turning
low.
point.
It's a big miss.
Yeah.
It is a big miss.
We've got one more debate for today, boys. I wanted to talk about the best English players abroad in history.
Ooh.
So who do we think are the best English players to go to a different team in a different country and absolutely smash it out?
Jude
the park?
Bellingham.
So far, yeah.
Jude Bellingham, best ever English export, I think.
I don't know if I could say that he's the best ever in history already.
I think he's
though.
he's probably the best. Ever
I think
start.
he's done. I could reel off probably about 8 English players, I reckon, who've done reasonably high profile moves. abroad.
But
And
Bellingham hasn't done it for long enough to be better than some of them.
No, he's
Okay.
definitely had the best. I think he's had the best start and the
yeah.
best impact straight away, so to speak. But I mean, like, look at Steve McManaman. He won 2 Champions Leagues, couple of Ligas when he was at Madrid. That's pretty good. He scored in one of the finals as well, didn't he?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Was he like their star player?
In the first season, he played on the right, like his preferred position, and did really well. And I think that's when he got the goal in the final and stuff. And I think they ended up signing like Figo or something like that. So he kind of got shifted about a bit, but he was still playing. He's still, starting games and things.
Yeah.
And I think he was there for like 3 seasons. And I think the 3rd season was a bit part, but he's still
I did have him
on.
on my list. He's one of the
Yeah, he was on my list as well.
one of the most decorated, I'd
Yeah.
say. But then if you're talking about, I mean, Jude, obviously it's a very early stage, but if you're talking about best, I mean, he's well and away the fucking best player.
I think the thing with Jude is we're all expecting him to now be one of the best centre mids for the next decade.
Yeah. Well,
We don't know that for a fact yet. Things could
he will.
change.
I
he
think
will
I
be.
think
I think he will be.
I don't
but
think there's more sure. There's more of a sure, certainty that it will continue to be that good.
Yeah.
He might not continue to score 17 goals every 20 games
But it'll
from
still
Cam,
He'll still be good.
but the way he performs, like he's not like just getting goals and assists. The guy's running the game.
He's just fearless, isn't he?
Like,
He's just,
and he's got the mentality. He's got the leadership
Yeah.
at like 20 years old. It's crazy.
It's insane.
He is a great player.
I'm sure we've talked many times on this podcast about him. But
My first shout, well, other than Jude, of course, is David Beckham.
commercially,
I think commercially, I know he wasn't unbelievable anywhere he went abroad,
He
but I
only
think
won La Liga, didn't he?
he won the La Liga. He also won the League One. He also won the MLS, which I know isn't massive, but that made
we're
him
stat padded here.
Yeah, he's got the medal.
No.
I suppose he's got the medals in different.
It
leagues,
made him
which
the
is good- which
first
is good,
ever
yeah.
English player to win
Yeah.
4 league titles
Yeah.
in 4 different countries: England, Spain, USA, and
Yeah.
France.
Yeah.
So I know he wasn't as good over there as he was in England, but he was at Madrid. He had 100+ appearances.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
part
he
of a
played
great
his part,
team.
yeah,
won the
yeah.
league,
That Galacticos team though,
Oh, it was insane.
it
yeah.
was ridiculously underachieving though.
Yeah,
I mean, they won. Did they win 1 league title? They definitely didn't win the
Yeah.
Champions
yeah,
League.
1 league title.
I think they got knocked out really in
Yeah.
Champions League. So
Terrible.
What's it called? Galacticos for?
It was essentially their transfer
Yeah.
management style. So obviously they had
That's the way they
Zidane.
marketed it, wasn't it? As well, Galactico. kind of thing.
Galacticos.
Yeah, but why? Why was that the name?
Well, it's just out of this world.
They
kind of
used
thing.
well. It's like
signings kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so did they just used to sign the biggest, best? and
yeah,
that
they
was
just
it?
signed the
no,
biggest names. They didn't sign Beckham because he can.
I know. Well, I guessed that they must have got some of these players for a little bit cheaper and just called them Galacticos.
No, mate.
No,
they got like Figo, Zidane,
Ronaldo. they
yeah,
got them all.
R9,
Yeah.
Roberto Carlos. It's like the names they had.
Oh, it's insane. That
Were-
early
were
to mid
fucked.
2000s, even though they didn't win that much, that
Yeah.
team was starting.
But then if you look at those players, I mean, with Roberto Carlos, R9, Zidane, you'd probably say that all 3 of them probably peaked for their country. Maybe they had
Yeah.
more impressive
Yeah.
stint.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zidane was really good at Juve as well, and Madrid. But I think he did more for France, didn't he? Surely
Yeah.
with the World Cups, the Euros, certainly with R9 as well. And I mean, R9 was that's a risky tackle.
Any other English players you want to shout out?
Yeah.
Michael Owen, biggest flop.
Oh God, yeah, that was
Yeah.
such a bizarre transfer that as well. I mean, we only got like 7 million for him as well, and we got some Nunez player as well, who was just dreadful. So that whole transfer, him going to Madrid from Liverpool, was just.
Yeah.
And he did awful at Madrid, really,
Yeah.
didn't he?
I think he got like 15 or 16 goals or something like that. But
He didn't set the world alight.
no, I mean he had like Ronaldo and.
But then
Raul
again, he
ahead
never
of him.
set the world alight after leaving Liverpool, did he?
No, once because he got injured, didn't he? And he was it when he did his knee in. Was it 2005 or 2006 or something?
That injury was bizarre as
Yeah.
well. Literally non-contact.
Yeah, it was in the World Cup, wasn't it? I don't. Another one, English player going a bit further back, Kevin Keegan, when he went to Hamburg, I think he won a couple of
won
German
league with him,
titles,
didn't
and he got
Yeah.
2 Ballon d'Ors when he was there as well.
Two
So,
Ballon
yeah,
d'Ors.
2 Ballon d'Ors.
Wow.
there, yeah.
I wasn't aware of that one.
I think he played in the European Cup final. He didn't win the European Cup, but he played there. I think
Where
he,
did Keegan play in England?
he played for yeah, he was at Liverpool. Then he went to Hamburg, and then we got Kenny Dalglish. So this was like late 70s, early 80s. So
But two league titles and 2 Ballon d'Ors.
2 Ballon d'Ors. I think he played in the European Cup final as well, and I think he got like German Player of the Year as well. So he had a big impact
He's
over there.
probably the best then.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jude.
Yeah.
Give it a couple of years, mate.
And then I think you've got like John
Gary
Charles as well, but I think
Lineker.
John Charles was Welsh,
Yeah,
wasn't
Gary
he?
Lineker at Barca.
Yeah,
but
Gary
he
Lineker.
got pushed out on the wing, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he went to Japan for 2 years. didn't
Yeah, I had Lineker on my list because, I mean, he's still bagged fairly well at Barcelona.
Well, yeah, he got a hat-trick, didn't he, in the Clasico, I think.
If you're going for Welsh ones, how did Ian Rush do when he went to Juventus?
Well, I mean, if you
Rubbish.
for-
He did rubbish.
We never mentioned Wales.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. John Charles, I think, is what was that?
And Gareth
Going
Bale.
way back in the 50s. I think he played for Juventus and scored like 30 goals in 3 seasons or something.
They think he's a god over there,
Yeah.
don't they?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was that period in the late 80s when English teams were banned, weren't they? And all like Glenn Hoddle, Chris Waddle, all them.
Mark Hughes went
Lineker,
over,
yeah.
didn't he?
They all went over, didn't they?
Yep.
I think, yeah, Glenn Hoddle, he did well at Monaco, was it? And
Yep.
Chris Waddle at Marseille, I think he won a few league titles. So
But I do have to admit, it's very rare that an English player does go abroad and do unbelievably well in comparison to how much we see
yeah,
players from other countries come over here and smash it.
that's why I think what Bellingham's doing is just unbelievable from an English point of view as well.
Well, we mentioned him earlier, Frankie. There was a stage where it looked like Tammy Abraham was about to explode in the Serie A, and then he just dropped off again.
He's injured now, isn't he, as well?
But I thought for a little bit, ooh, here we go.
I am enjoying seeing a gradual shift though, where like a lot of these young English players are going abroad. You've obviously got Jude, you've got Sancho, you've got Tomori, you've got Abraham, which is it's good to see. I am enjoying it. I think a big issue, and this is obviously probably another conversation to have. I think a big reason why England as a country have not achieved what France, what Germany, what Spain have, and Brazil, is because they're so one-dimensional in one league, and they're obviously that transcends coaches as well. I think the coaching capacity of England is terrible in comparison to other countries. I mean, look at Scotland. You literally go in a few miles north, and they've got an infinite amount of managers that are just ridiculously good. And I think that with these players, going to learning from other cultures, other styles of play, that's going to benefit England massively, and it'll benefit their careers as well.
I completely agree. I think it's the one thing that England have been missing, and I think if in the previous golden generation of England, because I think there was the period after maybe like 2010, 2012, up till the last competition or two, it was a bit of a lull.
Yeah.
Whereas now I feel like we're back at full form. But I think if in that period where we had like Terry, Ferdinand, Rooney, Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, all of those players, I think if some of those were playing abroad instead of in England and concentrated on those rivalries, even when playing internationally, we would have done so much better at competitions.
I think there was a period with Rooney, like, was it 2010 with the contract issues with United? And I think there was strong links he was going to go to like Italy or Spain or something like that. And I really wish he had, because I think he would have just gone to another level even more then.
And it'd been nice to see, and it'd be nice to see exports go and tear up those leagues.
Yeah.
It's nice to talk about. It's just a more interesting prospect.
You root for them as well, because it's
exactly,
you're representing. Like I mean, we never shut up about Jude, but there's a reason for that. It's because we're so tribal in England now, where we're like fuck Rooney, he plays for Scum or whatever, and you don't want to. And you can imagine that probably hampers the dressing room a little bit as well, because these players who actually play against him to so much, they don't. I mean, it's less of an extent now. They're all mates, aren't they? But it does help, I think, for team gelling.
And I think it also probably helps the English players themselves, because there's less pressure on them when they go abroad.
Yeah.
Like in the stadium, people will care more about the homegrown talents or people who have come from rival teams, etc., than they will about an English player. They don't. Like we don't really care about, like, if it's someone Spanish and they're playing for whoever. No one really gives a fuck. Whereas if it's the opposite way around, or they used to play for Man United, or they used to, there's that tribalism there, so it puts much more pressure on the players, just game in, game out.
Yeah.
We're into the last 3 minutes here. It's looking like it might end 1-1, which would be a second draw in a big game.
We need to be winning these
Liverpool at
games. Yeah,
Anfield.
we need to be winning these sort of games. But
who's the happier team?
I think it'd probably be Arsenal, to be honest. I think they'd be happier. But I mean, I think they've played better overall. So Liverpool happy as well. So I don't know. It's hard to.
I think that this combined with the Aston Villa draw yesterday, keeps the Premier League in a more interesting
I
position.
think City will be the,
Villa
the,
didn't
the
draw, they
happiest
lost.
of everything. So
Did they?
I said draw.
yeah, they drew.
I said the Villas won all the Villa game. They
Was it?
scored like a 97-minute equaliser.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, miles
Come on,
off.
Frankie.
Sorry, I was out last night.
No, I think City will be the happiest of all the teams, quite frankly. So
Yeah, but I'm really happy with how interesting the Prem is this year.
oh god, yeah.
And I hope Villa keep it up. I hope Liverpool and Arsenal keep it up right till the last day.
I think the fact that all the teams involved are none of them are perfect. So there's obviously mistakes and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, isn't it?
I just hope that it isn't City come back and blitz it in the second
They
half of
will.
the season again.
Yeah, with De Bruyne and Haaland back, they probably will.
I don't want that though. I really don't.
I want De Bruyne to come back, but I don't want City to win the league.
Yeah, obviously you want to see De Bruyne playing, but I don't want to see him just see that squad just batter everyone again. I don't want us to become the French league.
I think we are. I think we're
No. Because if you look at it this year, this is what I mean. It keeps it so fresh that you can't say that. But
I think the teams under City have improved quite well.
Yeah.
And they can take points off them.
Yeah, that is true, actually. The rise of Villa and Brighton, etc., means that there's more teams to actually give City a good game now.
Well, more teams are coming out and playing them instead of just being terrified and sat back. So if you be brave and play with them, so to speak, then you're likely to get more stuff. So
Manchester City, the big, bad, evil team.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd have thought it? And then Manchester United are there, dribbling in the corner.
Yeah, Solanke 14 points. Whoa.
You what, Solanke?
Yeah,
What about him?
14 points. 3 goals.
Do you get 3?
He's one of the top scorers this year, isn't he? He's doing really well, and I didn't really rate him before.
Wow.
A minute left, 1-1. How do you feel about this, Simon? You said Arsenal fans should be a bit happier. How are you feeling?
I mean, I think Arsenal have played better overall. So from a Liverpool point of view, I'd probably take the draw now if I'm honest. But you need to be winning these games. I think Arsenal probably thought they could come here and win. So they'll probably be a bit disappointed as well. But I don't know. It's just hard to call. And I suppose everyone goes home happy. I think in some aspect. But
How do you think City feel about it?
I think they'll be pleased. I think they will.
Oh, yeah, this is the result you'd have asked for if you were City, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'd much prefer one of these two clubs to win the league. Woo! Imagine if Liverpool grab a goal.
Well, we do get late goals. You never know.
Got 5 seconds left. Liverpool whip a pretty poor cross into the box.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
That's it. And it ends 1-1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
And it ends 1-1. Dubs. Well, boys,
It's been a pleasure. I'm absolutely shattered.
Frankie was out last night. It's been a tough one for him. So cheers for sitting through it.
Wilting away.
Yeah. I don't know when we'll see you next because I can't do like the Boxing Day game roll and Leeds play at home on New Year, so it's going to be a tough one. But we'll be back one day. Until that time.
Merry
good night.
Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas indeed,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas. Bye. Big off air as well.
Oh.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, did you click off air on that?
We trickled towards the finish line
We
there.
did, didn't we?